is Savardis. He's on the move, and they're going to look for Savardis in the corner. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Mowbray moving in. Sends one on goal, and he scores!
And it is a power play goal.
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon with the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Smith delivers. And that's hit back toward the mound. Weiss has it in short. He steps on second, and the ball game is over. Massapequa Coast has won the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship. Live from Great Kills Little League in Staten Island, New York, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into Day 3 coverage of the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball Championship. This morning, the tournament hosts its annual skills competition, which will begin with a parade into the Great Kills Little League complex at approximately 9:30 a.m. Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, alongside my broadcast partner, Nicholas Bavona. And Nick, 2 days of this tournament are in the books, and we know 2 teams that will appear in Friday's semifinal. Massapequa Coast and South Shore Little League both punched their ticket into the semifinal round last night. Tomorrow, here at Great Kills and over at South Shore, we will conclude pool play, and the other 2 semifinalists will be determined tomorrow morning in the games played right back here.
Yeah, and we're going to see what it's exactly the tournament seeding is going to be for this. And here at Great Kills, we're going to have the 2-2-0 teams face each other in the 5 o'clock matchup. And depending on what happens over at South Shore in their matchups earlier on in the day, that could really play into a factor of what happens in the 5 p.m. game that we see tomorrow night. Now, overall for this tournament, we've seen some really good pitching and some good defense, but as well as some of these young hitters getting some big-time hits. And with the home run derby later on today, I'm sure we're going to see a bunch of our players that have already hit a home run in their respective pool games so far. But as we mentioned, Joe, we have the 2-0 teams that have already clinched their spot into the semifinals tomorrow, or on Friday, I should say, that will be playing tomorrow. And you also have to talk about what we saw yesterday at South Shore. We saw a thrilling game number 1 between Massapequa Coast and EGC. And then that second game, it was pretty close throughout the entire first 3 innings. 4th inning was really when South Shore took advantage and was able to hold on to beat North Shore by that final of 10-3. Those 2 teams now, Massapequa Coast and South Shore, as I mentioned, meet tomorrow. 2-2-0 teams. One of them will only finish with 3-0 after pool play.
Well, Nick, you got started just a bit, but let's look ahead to those matchups that are on deck for tomorrow. There are 2 teams that have been eliminated. That took place last night by virtue of the wins from Massapequa Coast and South Shore, as both East Greenbush Castleton and North Shore saw their seasons come to an end. However, on the other side of pool play, there are still 4 teams that are very much alive entering the last 4 games tomorrow. Our first matchup at 10 a.m. will feature Plattsburgh Little League taking on Penfield Little League. That game has plenty of semifinal implications. Plattsburgh right now, far and away, based on the numbers, the least likely team to qualify. They would need a 3-way tie, a huge win, and some help, but mathematically, they are still in it. Penfield, however, firmly in the driver's seat if they can pick up a win tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's pretty much winning in for Penfield. They win that game, they're automatically going into the semifinals. So it's pretty much right there for the table for Penfield to win after their big win yesterday. And for Plattsburgh, you mentioned it. They have to win, and then they'll be – the best-case scenario is still that run ratio rule with the 3 teams being tied. But even then, it's going to be tough with the amount of runs they've given up so far. So it will be a tall test to climb for this Plattsburgh team, but they're still looking forward to hopefully getting the win tomorrow and putting some pressure on the second game.
Well, Nick, don't forget, with a Penfield win, we do have the possibility for a 3-way tie at 2-1, and then things get very interesting. If Penfield defeats Plattsburgh tomorrow morning, they move to 2-1, and that sets up what could be a wild finish on that side of pool play, with Auburn taking on Harrison in the next game. If Auburn were to lose, they would fall to 2-1.
Right.
Harrison with a win would improve to 2-1. And then it's time to break out the calculators and figure out the run ratios for those three teams, as we would have a three-way tie with a 2-1 record on this side of pool play. Once again, those games to be played tomorrow morning right over at South Shore. I think I mistakenly said Great Kills earlier. Those games are over at South Shore tomorrow morning. We are back here tomorrow night at Great Kills for the late games at 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. And Nick, a matchup that we've been looking forward to all week gets things started tomorrow at 5 p.m. However, the only implications for that matchup will be seeding as South Shore takes on Massapequa Coast.
Yeah, it's a matchup between two semifinalists from last season's tournament in which Massapequa Coast took the win in that one. And we saw some great action between those two teams last year. And now they will meet once again here in pool play this time around with, as you mentioned, playoff seeding implications. They've already clinched their spot into Friday's semifinal. But like we mentioned, it's really going to all depend on how much do you really put into notice about the opponent you're going to be potentially facing on Friday. Do you care about the certain matchups that you want to face on? Or do you just go into this game as a normal game and try to win it and make sure you go to 3-0 in pool play? So that's something those two teams will have to contend with tomorrow. But they're here today as well to celebrate this skills competition as well as the Home Run Derby.
And Nick, let's talk about the two teams that have been eliminated already. EGC, really tough luck yesterday. We watched that replay at the end of Game 1 no less than 10 times. It was as close as it gets. We were split 50-50, you and I.
Yeah.
The live chat was split 50-50, but at the end of the game, it was the man with the best angle who made the call at second base. I went back home and watched it some more, and I still couldn't find a definitive angle. It is really tough without that angle from the reverse side. The call was made from nearly behind the play.
Yeah.
So that was something else I checked. But again, the umpire had the best angle, and we looked at that replay as many times as we possibly could, as slow as we could on bigger screens. We still couldn't come up with a definitive answer. But EGC battled back yesterday. It was probably game of the week thus far, the way that one ended. And then North Shore last night did not go away, but South Shore's offense was just too much in the late innings. It was a one-run game through 3. South Shore ran away with that second game that we covered last night. But talking about EGC and North Shore, what are your takeaways for them from the week?
Well, for North Shore, we'll start off with them. You have to look at the two teams that they faced so far to start pool play. And those are obviously the two teams that are already moving on to the semifinals. Massapequa Coast in the first game got 19 hits on them. And you can't really fault North Shore most for that game because we know that Massapequa Coast lineup is stacked from top to bottom. They've been really doing good all season. Keen Rimler, we mentioned, has had home runs in both games for Massapequa Coast in pool play. Hit one last night as well against EGC. And you also look at what happened last night against South Shore for this team. They went into the fourth inning only trailing by 1 run. It was 4-3. But South Shore, we mentioned it, they had a slow start to their tournament in terms of hitting-wise. That fourth inning is when their offense started to finally click. They got some big hits. We saw Steven Grippo hit a 3-run homer as well in the second inning. And South Shore really picked up the offense where they were slacking in the first day of the tournament and were able to win that game as well, 10-3. So for North Shore, it just really came down to they faced really good offensive teams in the first two matchups. It was really tough overall competition. For EGC, Joe, I mean, when your run differential is -2, you lost both games by 1 run. That's a tough way to go for this tournament. We saw what happened in Game 1. They had the 3-1 lead going into the 6th inning. We're 3 outs away from getting that first victory, and they just unfortunately fell away from them. Grippo gets the game-winning 2-run double in the top of the 6th. They hold on to win 4-3. And then you mentioned last night's game, an absolute thriller of a game in which a controversial decision at second base led to a huge second out being recorded in the inning. EGC would get another runner on base to bring the winning run at the plate, but they just were not able to bring home that tying run from first. They lose that game 5-4. So it's tough for EGC because they obviously believe that they should be at least 1-1 in this tournament and still with their playoff hopes alive going into tomorrow's night matchups against North Shore, But yeah, for EGC, it's tough because I really feel for those kids the way that game happened last night, especially how Game 1 happened for them as well. You hate to see a team lose like that and be eliminated from tournament competition the way it ended.
Yeah, no question about it, Nick. And EGC and North Shore will get the chance to showcase tomorrow night in our final game of pool play. One of those teams will pick up their first victory. And You know how much I like to speak about what ifs, but if one of those two games goes the other way for EGC, we are looking at a crazy day tomorrow with unlimited possibilities on both sides. It would have been a really fun time to watch all of that unfold throughout the day. Obviously, the late games tomorrow will not determine semifinalists, but that game between South Shore and Massapequa Coast should be one that provides a lot of fireworks.
There'll be a lot of good spectators here at Great Kills to see that game.
And I'm very curious to see how those games are managed with both teams having clinched. Now, looking at the other side of the bracket and the potential matchups, you have to think that if Auburn comes out tomorrow, plays incredibly well, moves to 3-0, you'd probably like to avoid them moving on to the next round. Is that something that's on your mind at all, or are you managing just to conserve your pitching? Do you really hold going 3-0 in high regard and winning the pool? What are your outlooks on that?
I think it's all about pitching because we've seen it already in this tournament. Some teams have taken out their starters, whether they had a big lead or not, and try to keep their pitch count low so that they can pitch in the semifinals and the finals. So I think when it comes down to that, I don't even think it's in terms of I don't want to face this team. I would rather face this team. I think it's all about saving your pitching at the end of the day when you're in this type of tournament play. You want to make sure you have enough relievers going into Friday and Saturday just in case your starter doesn't give you the necessary outing that you want him to have. So for those two teams tomorrow, I'm curious to see what they do entail and who they might start and how they'll manage their rotations at bullpen. But I don't really think it will come down to who they would rather face. I think it's really going to come down to who they want to keep, who they want to start tomorrow, and who they want to save going into Friday and Saturday.
I think that's a great point, Nick, and what it comes down to is which pitchers do you want to make sure you have moving forward into a semifinal and a final. I completely agree with you there. I think that that's the number one priority in tomorrow's game. Of course, you're going to try to win. Of course, you'd love to go 3-0, but I don't think that comes at the expense of utilizing arms. That will be very important to you on the final 2 days of this tournament come Friday and Saturday. So with our parade appearing as if it's going to begin a bit late, we were scheduled for a 9:30 entry by these teams. It looks like we're going to wait just a bit longer. So what we will do is step aside and take a quick break with some messages from our sponsors. And when we come back, perhaps we'll talk a bit more about the rest of the week. And if the parade is getting underway, we will throw it over to public address as the teams are officially introduced into the complex. This is coverage of the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball Championship Skills Competition. More to come after this break here on the PDF Sports Network.
Awards and Trophy Center is proud to sponsor this week's New York State Little League Championship. Located at 1600 Highland Boulevard on Staten Island, we pride ourselves in not only building trophies, but building relationships, as we service our community and treat you like family. Your event and its achievements deserve the best. That's why Country Awards and Trophy Center is ready to work with all of our clients to make your event a memorable one, with awards, trophies, and gifts that make a lasting impression. Come see why we love our customers and they love us. Visit us today.
And we're back here on the PDF Sports Network, still awaiting the start of our welcome parade ahead of today's New York State Little League Baseball Championship skills competition. There is a picnic scheduled for after the skills competition, but right now there is the potential for rain in the forecast. Fortunately for us, we have full coverage over our setup today, so rain or shine, we will be with you for the remainder of today's festivities, and hopefully the rain clears up later tonight, Nick. These teams have some business to attend to later this evening.
Yeah, they'll be at the Staten Ferry Hawks watching their game tonight. Have to figure out who they're playing tonight, though. I'm not sure who the Ferry Hawks are playing. I want to say Long Island, but I could be completely wrong about that. But regardless, they will be in attendance for tonight's game, being honored by the Ferry Hawks, one of our proud sponsors here on the PDF Sports Network.
Absolutely, and we only know one matchup come semifinals. That will, of course, take place on Friday. So we'll go into more depth with that matchup, Massapequa Coast and South Shore. We'll start on the side of South Shore. We just saw them play last night, as we did with Massapequa Coast, but the most recent game we covered was the South Shore game. And Stephen Grippos had himself quite the tournament, Nick, and that's definitely someone to watch out for entering the matchup against Massapequa Coast. South Shore got off to a bit of a slow offensive start in their first game. They really erupted last night, especially in the late innings.
Yeah, and it's funny because in that game, North Shore did out-hit South Shore, I believe. I'm not exactly no, I'm thinking of the other game. Excuse me, Joe. In that first game, that was the other case. But South Shore did out-hit North Shore last night. I think it was 9-3, maybe in that category. You would have to correct me if I'm wrong. But for South Shore, you mentioned it. They had a really bad first game offensive-wise. They really didn't pick it up until the last inning, which we mentioned Stephen Grippo had that game-winning 2-run double. And I wouldn't be surprised Grippo's most likely going to be maybe participating in the Derby today. He had that big shot into right field yesterday that gave South Shore that 4-1 lead after North Shore tied it in the first inning. So that was a big 3-run homer. They needed that for sure. North Shore would make it a 1-run game, as I mentioned earlier on. But then after that, South Shore's really, took advantage and were able to get some big-time runs. We saw some suicide squeezes being laid down. We mentioned that first run of the game was a steal of home from third base by Ruggiero. And overall, South Shore did everything well on the offensive side of the ball to make sure that they could win that game. They now go to 2-0, but we have to also talk about what Massapequa Coast has done so far in pool play as well.
And we'll get there in just a moment, Nick, because I wanted to highlight another performance from last night. We already mentioned Stephen Grippo, who reached base 3 times in the game yesterday, but the bottom of the South Shore lineup, Nicholas McLean reached base twice, Jason Rocchio reached base twice, and when you're getting that from the bottom of the lineup, that gives your team a huge boost. On the other side of things, with the pitching, they got a good quality start from Vin Ruggiero. It was a bit shaky in the early innings as North Shore was able to push across a couple of runs, but in relief, Alex Torres did a great job last night for South Shore, gave them some very valuable innings preserving that bullpen. He did a great job for them, almost got them to the finish in that game, but they had to make a late pitching change, I believe with 1 out left in the game, if I'm not mistaken. So that late pitching change preserving Torres moving forward in this Little League Championship. But as you were saying, Nick, let's shift our attention over to the Massapequa Coast side, and obviously the standout performance for them was that 19-hit eruption in Game 1. And in that game, they had Chase Vitro, who went 4 for 4. 2 more hits last night coming from the number 3 hitter, Joey Labella. He had 3 hits in Game 1, 5 hits now total for him in this Little League Championship. Those just 2 names in the middle of the lineup that have had a really good start for Massapequa Coast, and their lineup top to bottom has been very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, think about what they bring to that lineup. 19 hits, as we mentioned in that first game, but I mentioned Keen Rimler, what he did in the first 2 games. He's hit 2 home runs, both pretty much the same exact side for this Massapequa Coast team. And now, I wouldn't be surprised maybe, Joe, if he's in the Derby today, considering what he's done so far. But Yeah, it's tough when you have, you're facing a lineup like this. For North Shore, they knew what Massapequa Coast brought to the table. They tried their best, and I commend them because most of that game, they went into that third inning with a 2-1 lead. So North Shore was up at one point in that one, but Massapequa Coast finally was able to take advantage and got 4 runs in that top of the third, and they would not surrender the lead after that. And then we saw in yesterday's game, that's why I was mentioning earlier, and I mixed up the two teams. Massapequa Coast was out-hit in that game against EGC 10-6. But despite that happening, they were still able to get crucial hits when needed the most. Keen Rimler's home run was the difference maker at the end of the day. If not for that home run, it's a win for EGC for sure. And they took advantage of some mistimely plays as well early on in the game, and that was really what the difference maker was. There also was that play at second base we mentioned as well. But yeah, Massapequa Coast has done what they needed to do in order to win these games. They've gotten some good pitching as well that have been able to hold on to these games, And now they go into tomorrow with that matchup with South Shore. We mentioned that one team will be 3-0, the other one will be 2-1, and then depending on what happens to the other side of the region, we'll have to see who they will potentially play on Friday in the semifinals.
All right, Nick, let's speculate a bit. We don't know.
We're never going to know.
We don't know.
At least tomorrow.
Well, no. We don't know who's participating in each of today's events, so we're going to try and speculate. Now, very hard to do, but we'll start with the easy one, the Home Run Derby. We've already mentioned 2 names.
Cohen Ashby's got to be
We didn't mention that one.
Yeah,
and that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, Cohen Ashby has to be in this Home Run Derby.
Yeah,
I would be very disappointed if he was not in the Derby.
Now, I've covered all but, I believe, 3 games. Outside of the Ashby home run, do you know of any home runs that we have not called? We missed the Ashby home run.
The second one the second one he hit.
We didn't call that one.
I don't think we missed.
I don't think so either.
At least for you, I missed obviously the one.
The Rimler home run in the first game.
The Rimler the Rimler one in the first game of the tournament, and then we saw Ashby's home run. I think for me, I've only missed one. I think for you, you probably just. Oh, I technically missed 2, and you've missed 1. Yeah.
Also, we had a home run by North Shore in their game against Massapequa Coast. Right. Now, when you're working off the paper scorecard, sometimes you have to do some digging, but it was Logan McCarron.
Yep.
And we mentioned last night, McCarron was batting in the number 11 spot. He was moved up to the cleanup spot, and I think he did a pretty good job.
And he delivered with the first run for North Shore in that game last night. Got the game tied at 1 going into the second inning. Got that infield single off the glove of the pitcher Ruggiero to bring home that first run. So McCarron definitely was another big factor. Maybe he's involved in the tournament, the Derby today. Who knows? But there's definitely a lot of names you're going to be looking out forward to. There's maybe who might participate. Obviously, the people that have hit a home run, you would speculate most likely will try to be in the Derby today. But there might be someone that hasn't hit a home run that might surprise us here today.
I think it's very tough to deny someone who's hit a home run in this tournament entry into the Derby. 2 different players have hit 2 home runs.
Right.
So you have that as well. And I think without knowing much else, that have to be considered the favorites, those Rimler and Ashby entering the Derby. Now, very tough to gauge speed as we're both multitasking here. I'm doing the scorecard, calling the game. You're, of course, operating our multiple cameras when the ball's in play. We are not directly eyeballing anybody running the bases, but there is a contest running the bases in the fastest time, home and all the way back. I believe that's the contest we opened with last year, so you'll have to get that notepad back out, Nick, the pen and paper. Okay. Make sure we take those times down, and we'll do our best to keep you updated on all of those as the day progresses. But we do have a third contest today that will see outfielders, or at least you would think primarily outfielders, looking to throw toward a target that you can actually see behind home plate. So we'll give you a look at that. And if I'm not mistaken, they upgraded that target behind the plate from last year. So they now have the catcher on the backstop and that white screen that is set up behind the plate. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they had last season, but it's looking good. And, Nick, you know they didn't have it last season. It features the great new logo that was featured on our graphic.
Right. Yeah, and it's a good view from where we have right out here in right center. So I'm curious to see who participates in all of these competitions because, as you mentioned, we did see a good amount of good throws from the outfield last night as well. There was a couple of throws at the plate that almost had some runners out at home plate over at South Shore. So maybe we see some of those outfielders tonight participate in this competition. But in terms of the speed competition, I guess it's really anyone's ball game that could be, decided to be in the tournament. Maybe you consider the people that maybe lead off at the top of the lineup for each of your teams, that maybe that's the reason why. But I could be completely wrong about that aspect as well.
So with a potential representative from each team in the Home Run Derby, a name that was just thrown out in the live chat, Bentley Lanning did win the Auburn Home Run Derby on Saturday. So thank you to Nikos in the live chat for that. Or Nico, it's Nico's Playhouse, the name. So Nico, thank you for that information. We can possibly look for Bentley to participate in the Home Run Derby as well, as Auburn does not have a player who's hit a home run yet in this tournament.
I wanted to give him a little bit.
Well, Ashby has hit the home run for Auburn. So maybe they'll get 2 representatives. I'm not sure if it's 1 per team. So we'll have to see what happens with that.
I was going to say, for Bentley Lanning, we want to give him a shout-out as well. How about the game performance he did in Game 1, coming out of relief for that team? Remember what happened in that game. Penfield made it 9-3, and Lanning had to come into the game to keep it a 9-3 game. At one point, Penfield had the bases loaded and could have trimmed the deficit from 9-3 to potentially 9-6, but got out of the bases loaded jam and kept it 9-3. They went out to win that game 9-4, so Lanning definitely deserves some shout-out. So a shout-out here today. Maybe he does participate in the Derby, but it'd be tough to be competing with his own teammate, Cohen Ashby, for that spot if that's going to be the case.
Bragging rights would certainly be on the line, Nick. And we've talked a lot about the other 2-0 teams, Massapequa Coast and South Shore. So let's talk a bit about this Auburn team. They were in a battle yesterday against Plattsburgh. They escaped with the win, a 2-run victory in extra innings. That game, unfortunately, we did not get to cover. Our colleagues, Nick Durst and Aaron Cohen, had the call for that one. But let's go back to the game that you and I covered. And taking a look at the box score in that game, the top half of the lineup hardly kept off base. Just about every hitter from the top spot in the order all the way down to the number 5 spot reached base at least twice in that game. And you're a tough team to beat when you're putting the top 5 hitters in your lineup on base that often.
Well, think about what Auburn did to start that game. They put up 9 runs in the first 2 innings. And that's really where it came down to it. Penfield had to come back from that 9-0 deficit. We were already talking about maybe a potential mercy rule being in effect after that second inning happened. Credit to Penfield for coming back in that one to make it close. But Auburn's lineup was really good from top to bottom. We've mentioned what Massapequa Coast brings to the table with their lineup in terms of top to bottom. Auburn's looking to bring that same kind of pace. And talk about what they did in their game yesterday as well, Joe. Huge pitching performance from Bo Buchanan out of relief for that Auburn team. Got into a bit of a jam in the 6th inning. Bases were loaded. Plattsburgh could have walked it off right there to give their team the win. Got a big strikeout to end the inning. Would then come back out for the 7th after his team got the lead after the Cohen Ashby home run. Struck out the side in that 7th inning and gave his team the win 5-3. So not only has Auburn gotten some great offense so far in this tournament, they've also gotten some really good pitching.
They certainly have, and they're going to need it tomorrow, Nick, as they're going to face a Harrison team that very well may be in a must-win situation. Now, there is a possibility for a 3-way tie at 1-2.
Right.
There is that possibility. We didn't talk about that, Nick.
Well, there's a possibility of a 3-way 1-2 tie and a 3-way 2-1 tie.
Yes.
So there's a lot of possibilities.
Oh boy. Things can get very interesting, but we'll talk about Harrison for a moment. It's very easy to forget. They won 10-0 on Monday, went on to lose against Penfield yesterday, but Harrison, a team that was very impressive on night 1 as well.
Yeah, and you look at what they did offensively in that game, and I think when you look down to it, it came down to walks. They were able to get a lot of walks in that game against Plattsburgh, and that's led to their 10-0 win. The game ended after 5 innings, so they were able to also get that mercy rule into effect. And think about also what they did pitching-wise. They were able to get a great start overall in that game, and they were able to get the win 10-0.
And how about C.J. Atanasio in that game? He was fantastic pitching, tough left-hander, and he was giving their opponent on Monday Night Fits. That was, of course, Plattsburgh, and Plattsburgh rebounded nicely in yesterday's game. Couldn't come away with the win, but they faced a really tough pitcher on Monday night.
I was going to say, for Atanasio, we tried not to, jinx him going into that 5th inning.
We didn't.
He had a no-hitter going into the 5th inning, but did give up the hit, and that's when he was taken out of the game. But absolutely stellar performance from him that we saw on Monday. But you were talking about the matchup that they had as well yesterday, and I think for them now, after losing the game against Penfield now has to feel good about themselves, because we mentioned it also on Monday that after trailing 9-3, they had a great comeback. They did not give up in that game. Could have easily said, you know what, we're down 9-0. We could probably save some of our relievers for tomorrow and for maybe the rest of this tournament, depending on what goes on. They did not do that. They came back in that game. They lost 9-4, and then they came right back to the next day and were able to get that big win. Get the big win over Harrison, 5-1. So now you go into tomorrow's game. Obviously, a huge matchup with Auburn. They're 2-0. You could go to 2-1 with the win, but you have to also monitor what happens in the first game of the tournament as well. A Penfield win really puts you in the spot where you have to win, but a Penfield loss will then make it a little bit more chaotic.
Well, the good news is they will know exactly what needs to be done after the first game. If Penfield drops to 1-2, all they have to do is win.
Right.
And I think that's obviously what they are hoping for. They are hoping that Plattsburgh can get in the win column, send Penfield to 1-2, and then they will be winning in, as a Harrison victory would move them to 2-1 and drop Auburn to 2-1. However, if Penfield wins, things get very complicated in terms of run ratio. I'm trying to think back to how many runs the teams allowed, and taking a look back to the first night, obviously Plattsburgh allowed 10 against Harrison. In the game against Auburn, Penfield allowed 9. So Auburn did not allow much in their game, and obviously that helps them moving forward. So we'll have to see, and we'll crunch the numbers tomorrow if that situation presents itself after Game 1. I'll be sure to have the calculator ready, and we'll see what it would take for each team to make it should there be a three-way tie at 2-1. But Plattsburgh is hoping to throw a wrench into that scenario to get into the win column and to drop Penfield to 1-2. Obviously, Harrison would love that. So we expected our parade into the complex to begin at 9:30. It is 9:48 right now, and the teams are still tossing the ball around in the outfield. And right now, there's no indication that they're getting lined up to get started. So what Nick and I will do is step aside and take a quick break. And it may be multiple messages from our sponsors coming up in the next few minutes until the start of our coverage of this year's skills competition. Stay right here on the PDF Sports Network.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
To sports, why be good when you can be legendary? At Legend Sporting Goods in Brooklyn, we service the community with only the best custom apparel, embroidery, and service, specializing in youth sports, so that the leaders of today become the legends of tomorrow. We're proud to support all of this week's great athletes and invite everyone to check us out and make us a part of your team. Come see why Legend Sporting Goods is in a class by itself. Visit us online or call us now. This tournament would not be possible without the great support of the Staten Island Advance. Not only does the Staten Island Advance have full coverage of the tournament, but we are committed to covering island youth sports year-round and all news close to home. Pick up the paper today and look for great subscriber deals now for our loyal readership. Visit us online at silive.com for news and photos of this week's tournament and all the breaking news on Staten Island, the nation, and the world. The news of Staten Island is the Staten Island Advance and silive.com.
The Staten Island Fairy Hawks are proud to be a sponsor of this year's New York State Little League Championship because one championship organization deserves another. Come check out another amazing season with us at Staten Island University Hospital Community Ballpark with great ticket and group deals, theme nights, and fireworks displays. Good luck to all of our teams this week from your friends at the Staten Island Fairy Hawks. We'll see you at the game.
New York State Little League Championship is proud to have Dave & Buster's as a proud sponsor. Where are you going after the game? There's only one place with delicious food, ice-cold drinks, games on the big screen, and fun for the whole family. Food and drink specials are available all week with the latest video games and the biggest arcade on the island. Redeem tokens for great prizes and come back often because Dave & Buster's is the place to be for game day and all the days in between. Turn on the fun with Dave & Buster's on Staten Island.
NYS Industrial is your all-in-one supply and tool store for commercial, industrial, and domestic industries. A leader in HVAC supply stores, K&S provides various building and maintenance supplies for office buildings, industrial plants, schools, homes, and more. We also specialize in getting our customers hard-to-find items. If you're looking for HVAC supply stores that also offer anything else you might need, look no further than K&S Industrial. If they make it, we'll get it. K&S Industrial.
And we're back here on the PDF Sports Network. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Nick Bavona as we await the start of this year's skills competition here at the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball Championship. So, Nick, going into the break, we were talking about potential three-way ties. Now, as I mentioned, it would be incredibly difficult for Plattsburgh to overcome their 15 runs allowed thus far. However, if there is a three-way tie at 2-1, anything can happen.
Yeah, if we think about what's going to happen if a three-way tie happens at 2-1, there's a potential that, one of those 2-1 teams is unfortunate. Obviously, they're going to get eliminated, but then it really comes down to the runs they have allowed so far in the tournament, and that's where it really is going to get tricky, and you're going to have to crunch the numbers to see what that entire thing will be determined about what the tiebreaker will be. So that's something that we have to look forward to tomorrow, and obviously in the earlier matchup with Penfield and Plattsburgh, and then that final matchup with Auburn and Harrison. So over at South Shore, we're definitely going to have a lot of, I don't want to say controversy, but there could be controversy at the end of the day, depending on what the results are.
All right, so for those who don't have access to the website with this information, thank you, of course, to the Spectator who helped us gather this information quickly without having to break out the pen and paper and the calculators. But write it down, get your pen and paper out at home, and we'll give you exactly where we stand right now on the American side of the pool. The pool is officially the American and National pool. I actually was not aware of that until a few minutes ago. So the American pool features Auburn, Penfield, Harrison, and Plattsburgh. Of course, the other four teams on the other side in the National pool. But again, runs allowed and records in the American pool. Of course, right now, Auburn is at the top. They are 2-0, and they have allowed 7 runs thus far. So at 2-0, they're obviously in the driver's seat. Win and in for them tomorrow. Behind them right now, Penfield and Harrison are both 1-1. Penfield has allowed 10 runs, and Harrison has allowed 6. Now, run ratio is runs allowed divided by 6, as referenced in the live chat. There is no benefit to you for an extra inning game. There is also no benefit for ending a game sooner. So, again, the benefit, obviously, of ending the game sooner would be that you can't allow any more runs, but winning via the mercy rule and scoring as much as you can only hurts the other teams in your pool. It doesn't necessarily help you, except for indirectly, by obviously the other teams allowing more runs. So I hope that made sense. Either way, right now, Penfield in a three-way tie mathematically would be on the outside looking in with 10 runs allowed. Harrison right now has allowed the fewest runs of the three teams in that potential 2-1 tiebreaker scenario with their 6 runs allowed. Auburn at 2-0 has allowed the 7 runs. So, Nick, there is a possibility that 2-0 Auburn could miss if they lost tomorrow.
Yeah.
That is obviously not a foregone conclusion, but it is possible. Most likely is that if there is a three-way tie at 2-1, that Penfield would be on the outside looking in. But again, those three teams are close enough where anything can happen.
Yeah, and we've already talked about a lot so far, Joe, this week when it comes down to pitching. And it seems like tomorrow that those three teams are going to need a very stellar performance from all of their pitching, regardless of what the outcome is. So if they want to have a chance, they need to make sure that not a lot of runs come up on the board and that they can make sure that they get that win tomorrow. Not only get the win, but keep the run allowed at a minimum. So that's where it really comes down to tomorrow in terms of, we talked about all week, that the importance of pitching has been crucial this entire tournament. It's going to definitely be at its highest point tomorrow for those three teams.
No doubt about it, Nick, and we will see what tomorrow has in store for us beginning at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. I mistakenly said we'd be at Great Kills. We will be at South Shore tomorrow morning, just to make that completely clear. So it looks like the teams may be departing the field now as we prepare to introduce the teams once again ahead of our skills competition. We anticipate that will begin in about 3 minutes. So, Nick, let's step aside for one final break, and when we come back, coverage of the skills competition right here on the PDF Sports Network.
Awards and Trophy Center is proud to sponsor this week's New York State Little League Championship. Located at 1600 Highland Boulevard on Staten Island, we pride ourselves in not only building trophies, but building relationships, as we service our community and treat you like family. Your event and its achievements deserve the best. That's why Country Awards and Trophy Center is ready to work with all of our clients to make your event a memorable one, with awards, trophies, and gifts that make a lasting impression. Come see why we love our customers and they love us. Visit us today.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
To sports, why be good when you can be legendary? At Legend Sporting Goods in Brooklyn, we service the community with only the best custom apparel, embroidery, and service, specializing in youth sports, so that the leaders of today become the legends of tomorrow. We're proud to support all of this week's great athletes and invite everyone to check us out and make us a part of your team. Come see why Legend Sporting Goods is in a class by itself. Visit us online or call us now. This tournament would not be possible without the great support of the Staten Island Advance. Not only does the Staten Island Advance have full coverage of the tournament, but we are committed to covering island youth sports year-round and all news close to home. Pick up the paper today and look for great subscriber deals now for our loyal readership. Visit us online at silive.com for news and photos of this week's tournament and all the breaking news on Staten Island, the nation, and the world. The news of Staten Island is the Staten Island Advance and silive.com.
The Staten Island Ferry Hawks are proud to be a sponsor of this year's New York State Little League Championship because one championship organization deserves another. Come check out another amazing season with us at Staten Island University Hospital Community Ballpark with great ticket and group deals, theme nights, and fireworks displays. Good luck to all of our teams this week from your friends at the Staten Island Ferry Hawks. We'll see you at the game.
New York State Little League Championship is proud to have Dave & Buster's as a proud sponsor. Where are you going after the game? There's only one place with delicious food, ice-cold drinks, games on the big screen, and fun for the whole family. Food and drink specials are available all week with the latest video games and the biggest arcade on the island. Redeem tokens for great prizes and come back often because Dave & Buster's is the place to be for game day and all the days in between. Turn on the fun with Dave & Buster's on Staten Island.
NYS Industrial is your all-in-one supply and tool store for commercial, industrial, and domestic industries. A leader in HVAC supply stores, K&S provides various building and maintenance supplies for office buildings, industrial plants, schools, homes, and more. We also specialize in getting our customers hard-to-find items. If you're looking for HVAC supply stores that also offer anything else you might need, look no further than K&S Industrial. If they make it, we'll get it. K&S Industrial.
And we are back from Great Kills Little League just in time for the start of player introductions ahead of today's skills competition. So we will throw it over to public address at this time as we get a chance to meet the teams once again and kick off the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball Championship Skills Contests.
Leading off, Team Plattsburgh. Team East Greenbush. Team Auburn. Team Penfield. Team Harrison. Team North-South. Team Massapequa Coast. And Team South Shore. And now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise? And please show your pride in our country by removing your caps and singing along to our national anthem. participating in this New York State tournament. I want to reiterate how talented all these boys are on this field. They are the final 8 of 1,300 Little Leagues. Think about that. You really absorb that. They are the best 8 teams in the state out of 1,300 Little Leagues. Give them a nice round of applause. Yeah, each one of you are a true champion, and I hope you're enjoying the game and you stay down here. And this is the fun day. Today's a good day because you get a little bit to relieve some of the tension of all the games, and you get to have some fun. So that's what you guys are supposed to be doing. Having fun, playing a game, doing the best you can, and enjoying yourselves. And that's what this is all about. All right, so today, we're going to do a bunch of things. We're going to do the skills competition. And right before that, I just want to thank all the staff, the presidents, Ron Pascal, Vinny Nicolo, my staff, Jonathan Gary, Ben Leffenbaum, and I have a special guest who's going to be the timer and the point guy here today, Mr. Pete Scalfani. He's back there. I want to give him a nice round of applause because he's the guy keeping me score, so everybody better clap for him. All right, so we have 3 events today. What's going to be is they're going to have the Road Runner, which is the fastest timer on the bases. You have to touch every base. If you miss a base, there's a 5-second penalty. So please make sure you touch the base. When you run, I tell them when they start, the minute they take off, the time starts. Don't stop on the plate. Run right through the plate. That'll help your time. Top 3 runners will square off for a final. And then that best score will win the trophy. Then we're going to do the most accurate throw, which is the golden arm. And they're going to throw, because you guys are so talented, you're going to be throwing from 170 feet. There's a marking out in center field. And you got to hit that target right behind home plate. Pretty nice target. Now, if you hit it on a fly, that's 3 points. If you hit it on the ground, say it rolls in, it bounces here, and it hits it, that's 1 point. If it doesn't touch it at all, it's 0 points. We'll add up the points after all the players go, and the top 3 there will square off for a final, and they'll get the trophy. And of course, the biggest thing is the home run derby. We all love that. Everybody has a lot of fun watching these guys hit bombs out of the ball. And you guys, managers, coaches, whoever's going to be throwing, will be throwing to their player. They will get 5 swings. Not 5 throws, 5 swings. So players, if you don't like the pitch, don't swing. If you like it, hit it out of the park. And then the top players, we're going to, again, the top 3 players will square off. And they will, if they'll hit it out, and whoever has the most home runs will win the trophy. Sometimes we have ties when it gets down to the final 3. So when I say final 3, it could be the final 4, it could be the final 5 will be brought in if it's a tie. So just be ready for that. But other than that, I want to get this thing going because I know these boys are anxious to have some fun. After this is done, you're going to be welcome to a nice lunch on the next field. You guys get your food, eat, enjoy, then you go out and enjoy your day. And then, of course, tonight we have the Ferry Hawk game. We get to get on the field and we can parade and show everybody where you guys are. Thank you, and let's the games begin. Teams, when you're done, just take your teams, move it to the outfield, and we'll start the road runner. All the runners can come on down.
And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Nick Bavona. And Nick, I don't think we could have done any better than that, explaining the rules of the Roadrunner competition, the Golden Arm competition, and the Home Run Derby.
Yeah, now we're going to have to wait just a few moments to see who participates in each competition, Joe. But a lot of excitement on the field and in the stands here at Great Kills for these 3 competitions coming up.
All right, Nick, so what we're going to do, we're going to have the 2 cameras, the wide shot and the shot focused in on the plate, or I should say focused in on the base runner for the Roadrunner competition. I'm going to have to try and get behind the camera and operate it. You will switch the camera angles when necessary, though I'm not sure we'll need it. That being said, we'll record the event with the focus on the runner, and then once their turn is complete, we'll get you a look on the wide shot. So that's how we'll shoot this. And we get set for the beginning of the Roadrunner competition. No participants were announced ahead of time, so the participants will be a surprise to us.
See momentarily who participates from each team. As you mentioned, we don't know who the participants are just yet, but we also have to keep a track of the timing for each of these team players and how fast they will be running around the bases.
Fortunately for us, Nick, we don't have to keep the time, but what we'll do, just in case, keep a time, because last year I think I recall us timekeeping.
Okay.
I don't know if they announced it and then we wrote it down, so just keep the time in case.
I'll have it with me just in case.
Yeah. So we'll do our best with that as well. But right now, it looks like the participants are gathering behind the plate, though I see a lot of uniforms matching one another right now. It looks like there's a cluster of players from each team there. The Roadrunner's a bit quick. These guys get around the bases pretty fast.
No pun intended.
I have no desire to run anywhere these days. My golden rule when I play pickup baseball and softball is, unfortunately, Little Leaguers, don't follow my advice, but I'm not running anything out these days. We're not doing that.
I'll run out sometimes.
Yeah, I lift heavy objects and put them down. That's it. No running. Those days are over. Once you're on the north side of 30, you can do that. As I age myself a bit.
That's just a good job aging yourself.
In a year or two, I'll be 3 times as old as our participants.
You're just doing yourself no favors right now.
I don't look it, so it's okay. Clean shave, and I can definitely pass for my 20s. All right. So we're going team by team.
So Plattsburgh's going to start this one off.
Andrew Carter of Plattsburgh Little League, our first runner. Everybody will be running from the right-hand batter's box, so keep that in mind.
Take a swing and go. Take the swing and go, and then start the clock, hit all the bases, make sure you run for home plate.
There's the swing, and there he goes. All right, Carter's in. Let's see what his time was.
13:06.
Okay.
13:06.
Fortunately for us, Nick, they are keeping time down there and announcing.
That is a great plus.
Now, did they announce the second runner?
This is Beatrice.
Okay. Yeah, when you're doubling as the cameraman, it's a bit tough. Also, the camera is at the end of the table.
So Roman Rabideau now the next participant.
I really hope this music isn't copyrighted.
Hopefully not. We'll find out later.
Oh, we sure will. There goes the hat, Nick.
There goes the hat, the flow. Let's see what he finishes with.
Needs him.
And we have our first place so far for Plattsburgh, Rowan Rabideau.
We need some WD-40 on this tripod, Nick. Joey Lamonto, the fourth runner for Plattsburgh.
Already 12:42 the time to beat so far.
Now, Nick, how fast can you whip together a time to beat graphic?
I'm not sure if I can. Okay, 12:95 for Lamonto. So Elliot Purrier now, the last participant. All right, let's see.
12:61.
So Rowan Rabideau Right now, Joe, with the time to beat, 12:42. East Greenbush Castleton now will be the next team participating. Jack Pierce is going to start it off. So as we mentioned, folks, right now the time to beat 12:42 by Rowan Rabideau of Plattsburgh. Let's see what Jack Pierce from EGC starts off with. Oh, just
Very
missed
close.
it, Joe. He just missed it. But puts himself right now early on to be in a good position to be one of those top three. It's going to be RJ Viola now.
Before I tell you the score, his name is RJ Viola. Okay, and his score was 11-8.
First sub 12, Nick. How about that? RJ Viola, 11-8-3.
And now he has the time to beat. Viola was flying around the bases on that last one.
Chris Bombard, the runner now. There goes the hat.
It's going to happen a lot today. Well, at least in this competition. So Bombard finished with.
12-48.
Second EGC player, Joe, with 12:48.
All right, Nick, we're going to try and move the camera back. So switch camera shots very quickly.
Go right ahead.
Slide back. So the other camera's fixed on the plate. We apologize for that.
Right now the runner is Jonah Gwinnett for EGC.
All right, go ahead, Nick. Switch it back.
And Gwinnett is in. Let's see what he finished with.
Okay, we'll be very happy we did this the rest of the way. So we apologize for missing that last run in part, but this should make it much easier.
And Joe, if you didn't hear that, by the way, Gwinnett missed first base, so we got a 5-second penalty.
Ah.
So 12:72 is going to be his official time.
Well, no way he got a 5-second penalty with a time of 12 seconds.
Well, okay, yeah. I didn't do my math right. It's still early for me, too.
Now, did they add 5 seconds to that?
I think they did. I could be wrong. Matt Bombard, the last runner.
Nice job, 12-96.
He finishes with 12.96. Auburn now comes up. They're faithful, right? See it next to us, Joe. RJ Viola right now, the time to beat, 11:83.
Now, Nick, do you go backwards hat on this?
For running this competition?
Yeah.
I'll go backwards hat for normal things, so yeah, why not?
Yeah, I do go backwards hat a lot.
I like when people do the backwards hat for the home run derby, too.
Reminiscent of Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yep.
Yeah, our generation holds him in very high regard. I know a lot of people who have Ken Griffey near the top of their list of favorite players.
This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So fast he got around. That is 10-7-3.
Wow.
Now, Nick, did they announce the runner?
I didn't hear the runner name. Our audience might have heard it, but I didn't hear the name fully.
All right, next up, Parker Smith.
Parker Smith, the next runner. We'll see who the first runner was in just a moment.
So that was sub 11.
Now that's the time to beat. That looks like a good time to beat, too.
That was 11-5-1.
Joe, right now, Auburn's got the top two runners so far.
That's certainly a testament to some team speed, Nick.
Yeah.
Now up, Evan Bula.
Evan Bola now, the next runner.
I think the live chat just clarified that Bentley Lanning was the first runner.
That's why I look like him. I just wanted to double check if it was. And that's why I mentioned Joe earlier. I said he leads off for this Auburn team. It would not be surprising if he were one of the top runners.
12.5. All right, now Landon Blanchfield.
It's Landon Blanchfield now. So Blanchfield finished with.
12.69.
Finished 12.69.
And last but not least, Camden Marinka.
Cam Marinka, the final runner for Auburn.
All right, Joe. So far, 3 teams through. And our top runners right now, 2 of them from Auburn. That'd be Bentley Lanning and Parker Smith. And then from EGC, RJ Viola. That's so far the top 3 participants.
Ambrose Valentini, the next runner. I think you're looking for Penfield, Nick.
Thank you. I was looking for my papers.
Oh boy, this is unbelievable. I know it's pretty quick. 10:26.
Wow.
Wow.
New
is right.
time to beat by half a second, Nick. Sub 10 might be possible, Nick.
Yeah. That's unfortunately going to eliminate RJ Viola from the competition. So still 2 Auburn runners and now Valentini.
That was Matteo Natali. 13:15 his time.
Now up is Will Belaski.
Well, Belasco, we saw him have a big hit on Monday.
Sure did.
And Joe, he is flying around the bases.
Needs a strong finish.
11:52.
Still about second.
And Joe,
off the pace.
Literally finished point, not far behind Parker Smith. Parker Smith had 11:51. You need to get at least 11:50 to be in the top 3 right now.
So Louis Sapir donning the backwards cap. 12:03.
That's going to be it for Penfield.
Harrison up next.
Is going to be Josh Lewis. Come on down.
This is Josh Lewis starting it off for Harrison.
$11.84, Nick. That should be good for top 3. Oh no, 4th.
It's not. Yeah,
just missed.
The time to get into the top 3 right now, Joe. You need 11:50. After this scene, I'll bring up the scores once again.
Okay, that was 12:70. Next up, Anthony.
That last runner was Jeffrey O'Connor.
Looking away through that.
I believe Anthony Sacco was just announced as the next runner. We're definitely getting copyrighted for this one, Nick.
That's for sure.
I think less than 15 seconds, you're good. Cut the music. 13:02.
Oh, 13:02. I mean, that. I don't know if that's going to help us with that, though.
Sure. Thank you, Anthony. Job well done, keeping that under 15 seconds. There was no announcement here.
And Joe, here it comes again. Under 15, under 15. This is, of course, Lachlan Waits.
Yeah, they didn't announce him either.
And that was 1276.
1276.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, Lachlan.
I believe this is Sean Welgos.
Sean Welgos, yes.
See if he can get Harrison on the board. Get them a runner in the top 3. Could be close, maybe.
11-20.
And Joe, just like that, we have a new runner. Right now, the top 3 scorers, Ambrose Valentini, Bentley Lanning, and now Sean Welgos. That's our top 3 now, going into our North Shore competitors next.
Not mistaken, we have North Shore, Massapequa Coast, South Shore.
Correct.
As our final 3 teams.
Correct.
Okay. That's the order they're lined up in right now as well, so I think that will be the order.
This is Houston Laley starting it off.
That was 1242.
So once again, to reiterate, the time to beat right now, Joe, is 11:20 to get into the top 3.
Now, did they announce the runner, Nick?
No, but we have the number, and that is Jude Ryan.
Most of the teams wearing either their uniforms or shirts with a number on the back. I think one team did not.
Auburn.
Auburn, right.
1340, and his name is Jude Ryan. All right, now up is Liam McGrath.
Liam McGrath, now the next runner.
You might not know it if you listen to Public Address. Happens to the best of us.
Does happen to the best of us.
Been there. It's not fun.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in a Little League game, and you draw the ire of parents quickly when you mispronounce their child's name. Watch out.
Mm-hmm.
That was 1282.
Liam McGrath, 1282.
Dylan Zarella now the next runner.
That was 1401. And last up is William Weingartner.
So William Weingartner, who we saw last night, pitched Joe, who will be the last runner.
He pitched, played third base, and played the outfield in one game.
Now he's running the bases. Could be a respectable time.
Seems like sub 11.5 has put you relatively close to the top of the field.
And he unfortunately just missed it.
Yep.
So I mentioned 11:20 right now is the time to beat.
Ryan Love, the first runner for Massapequa Coast.
Yep.
He wanted to run from his natural side, now has to feign a right-handed swing.
Yeah.
Our tripod does not want to let us go left here. Though it is on a very unstable surface.
I will say, though, Ryan Love's going to give the competitors a run for their money. 12:37 on that one. It's Chase Vitro now, the next runner.
Chase, a tall runner, Nick. He almost escaped the frame.
Yeah. I almost lost him for a second. See what he finishes with. 12:03.
Yeah, Chase needed an adjustment on the zoom.
Yeah.
Good thing Noah Martinez isn't running. He definitely would fit in the frame.
I think this is Michael Santopietro. And it is. He also pitched last night.
Has pitched twice already in this championship.
Yeah.
That was 1301. And last but not least, Matthew Francese.
Matthew Francese now the last batter, or runner, I should say.
Well, they do take.
They are in the batter's box, so
They do take a fake swing.
yeah,
They're a batter for at least half a second.
yeah. See if we can get Massapequa Coast on the board.
That was 12-63. Okay, next team.
All right.
South Shore Little League.
Time still to beat to get into the top three is 11:20.
34, Dylan DeGata.
Dylan DeGata will lead it off for South Shore.
Would it be Joe Arachi? All right.
Oh, never mind. It's going to be Joe Arachi. So Joe Arachi now will be the new runner.
Well, I haven't been able to monitor the live chat closely, but let's keep it civil and positive in there, everybody. Just took a glance down. I can only see the most recent comments, but doubling as the camera operator, it's tough to keep up with. Current runner Jake Romero.
Actually,
Or
I think
Jason
that was,
Rocchio,
that
my
was
mistake.
Jason Rocchio.
7-0. Now up, Alex Torres, number 13.
You mentioned Torres' heroics last night in relief for South Shore. After this show, we'll have one more team left.
That was 12-88. And last but not least, number 20.
Or am I doing my math wrong? Do we have one more team left, Joe?
Zach Weiss, the runner. And what was your question, Nick?
Do we have one more team left, or is South Shore the last team?
South Shore should be the last team.
Okay. Yep, you're right. You're right. So unless Weiss gets a good time here, we have our three runners.
That was 14 flat. All right, I'm going to go to my judges. They're going to give me the tally.
All right, Joe. So they'll go to the judges, but the official scores: Ambrose Valentini from Penfield with 1026, Bentley Lanning from Auburn with 1073, and Sean Welgos from Harrison with 1120. Those are going to be our top three runners. As we get our Jeopardy music.
Well, the judges not as efficient as you, Nick.
I'm ready if they need it. If they need to
If
come
they
over
need
here.
another judge, we can send Nick down there, you know.
I'm here if needed.
The Jeopardy theme ended.
Yeah.
Isn't there a buzzer when that happens on television?
Don't know.
I grew up watching Jeopardy with my grandmother.
I haven't watched Jeopardy in a while.
I grew up with the late, great Alex Trebek.
I was going to say, it just isn't the same. That's the problem.
Everybody loved Alex.
Yeah.
Universally beloved. I think Pat Sajak left Wheel of Fortune as well. I think he recently hosted his final episode. I would always watch that as well.
Yep.
Looking back on it for, 10, 11-year-old kid, I was pretty good.
I know.
I watch it now and I'm like, these puzzles are kind of easy. They're still tallying the scores.
To show that I want my notepad, I'll go run down real quick. Can't promise it'll be faster than any of the runners that just went around the bases, but I'll get it there eventually.
Someone might have to invest in some digital scorekeeping.
All right, ladies and
All right.
gentlemen.
Official ruling.
Fastest time. We do have now the three fastest runners in New York State Little League. Here we go. I'm going to go over.
So if I got my times right, Joe.
It will be the first runner. First runner will be from Harrison, Sean Welgos. His time was 11:20.
All right, Sean Welgos.
Second will be Auburn, Bentley Lanning with a time of
Bentley Lanning.
7:03. And the third runner will be Penfield's Ambrose Valentin with 10.26.
So you have to think Ambrose Valentini right now the early favorite with that 10:26 time that he had.
Welgos, Lanning, Valentini. In that order. So the fastest time runs last. That is Valentini. And, Nick, how close was it? About half a second difference?
So right now, this is the ties that we had. We had Welgos had 11:20, Lanning with 10:73, Valentini had 10:26.
So about a half a second difference between 1 and 2 heading into this final round. And you have to think, Nick, whoever got the longest rest may have a slight advantage.
This guy's fast. All three of these guys are. That was 10.93.
Wow, 10.93.
So he improved by about 0.3 of a second. All right, Bentley Lanning, the runner now.
So 10.93 is the time to beat. And you can see it, Joe. Lanning going quickly. Yeah, 10.73 his first time around. He might have beaten him this time.
That's incredibly fast. 10.52.
And he did definitely beat it, Joe. And that, so 10.52 is the time to beat. Can Ambrose Valentini, who had a 10.26, beat that time? He's going quickly around the bases, too. This might be a photo finish.
Okay, that final score was 11.52.
And Bentley Lanning has won it, Joe.
An upset in the finals.
And the Auburn faithful that are surrounded towards us near the commentary desks are very happy to hear that.
So Bentley Lanning, the winner of the Roadrunner competition, representing Auburn Little League. In second, behind him,
was Sean Welgos.
Was Welgos, and then in third, Valentini. I am very grateful that we have the table in the cover, Nick, but the table is not a good support for the tripod.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we shouldn't be needing it again until the Home Run Derby, as our camera now will shift its focus out toward the mark in center field. We'll see if we can get a shot of it.
There it is.
So, if you look closely, there is a star on the outfield grass. That is it right there. That is where our Golden Arm participants will be throwing from. They will be trying to hit the target located 170 feet away.
I have it on our other
behind
camera
home
right
plate.
here.
All right, so we'll focus on that marker in center field. And Nick, cut the camera when the throw travels to the infield.
Gotcha. And remember what they said also, Joe. If the throw from the outfield doesn't touch the infield and hits the target, that's 3 points. If it bounces in the infield, hits the target, that's 1 point. And obviously, if it does not hit the target at all, it's 0 points.
That was clarified ahead of our Roadrunner competition.
So, Joe, I think for this one, you're going to have to probably keep a tally on how many points are scored.
Should be good with the notepad.
Yeah. Let's see. Chase Currow from South Shore is going to start this competition off.
All right, Nick, do you recall how many throws they're each getting?
I didn't hear that part, though. I'm not entirely sure how many they got.
I would assume it was announced, but if it was, I missed it. However, as Nick mentioned, hit the target on a fly, 3 points. Hit the target on a bounce, on a roll, 1 point. Top three will advance to the final round. 3 throws, Nick.
3 throws, there you go.
3 throws. First throw on its way from Chase Currow. His arm's too good. That's a strong arm, Nick.
Yeah.
Currow, a left-handed thrower. His second throw on its way. Once again, just a bit high. So, Nick, is your strategy to try and hit this on a fly each time or just to make sure that you hit it on the bounce?
I think, depending on what happens with the next participant, it could be maybe just to bounce it also. Because obviously you would like to get those 3 points, but it's not really an easy throw.
For us, no throw is easy from that distance.
Yeah.
And it looks like Nicholas McLean was going for the bounce to hit that target, but was just a bit wide to the right. He's a right-handed thrower. And once again, that's wide right. Very calm day. No wind. That certainly helps. As that once again is wide to the right. Looks like 4 throwers per team, Nick.
So Scarangello now is the next man up for South Shore. Just a little bit far to the right.
Second throw on its way from Scarangello. And on a bounce.
Just missed it again.
Just wide.
He's right there, Joe. So we got in this last one.
And that is
just
wide again.
All right, last for South Shore is number 8, Jake Romero.
Jake Romero will try to get our first points of the day.
And he hits it on a fly. That's a 3-pointer for Romero. Made it look easy. Second throw. Just missed. He nearly hit it on a fly again, Nick.
We'll get the replay of his throw in just a moment.
Final throw from the lefty. On a hop, just wide.
All right, that was 3 points. Next team up, Massapequa Coast.
All right, Massapequa Coast will be next. So, Nick, we're going in reverse order from what we had in the Roadrunner competition.
After Walsh's first throw, we'll have the replay of that 3-pointer from Romero.
First throw from Jackson Walsh is wide. Second throw well wide to the right.
And we got to remember, Joe, he also pitched yesterday.
It's a good point. Final throw. Wide to the right.
Here's a look at that Romero throw towards the end. Nice doink right off of that target behind home plate.
Daniel Moreno will throw. And on a hop, he hits the target.
That's a 1-pointer.
Second throw wide to the right.
And the strategy could be maybe hitting it on a bounce because a couple players with 0 were trying to at least get 1 point. Moreno has at least 1 now.
I think it's much tougher when you're one of the early competitors, Nick, because if you have someone after you who hits it on a fly and only the top 3 advance from this point forward, you know that if you're aiming to hit on a bounce, you're going to have to hit the target 3 times in all likelihood.
Right.
Because we already have Romero who hit it on a fly. Hitting it on a fly once likely puts you through. As that's wide to the left. Second throw. On a bounce. Thrower for Massapequa Coast is Chase Santoro here. And his third and final attempt is in on a bounce.
All right. So right now Romero, Santoro, and Moreno are on the board. And Scary now will be the next man up.
Well, I'll tell you, the kids on the field have fun with the wide throws. Teammates getting on one another, some bragging rights on the line.
They're giving the 4 comment.
All in good fun. Yes, that's a bit short and wide.
I get told that a lot when I'm playing golf.
You should have seen me in the faculty staff softball game, Nick. Blew out the rotator cuff trying to show off my arm. That was Ryan Scary, our last competitor.
Dylan Waltz from North Shore will lead this one off for them. And he's on the board.
Waltz with a point, looking for more. Just missed.
Just missed it. Okay, get 1 more.
Final throw.
Second.
And that's wide left on a hop.
So right now he is tied for third place.
Now, Nick, if you have to participate in one of these events with a chance, which one are you taking?
Probably. I think either. I might participate in this one, honestly.
This would be my last choice. I would blow out my arm. This is Harrison Miller.
But then again, I probably would need Tommy John, so you're not entirely wrong.
Miller bounces one over the target.
That's a tough bounce.
Didn't miss by much. Good effort. One more throw for Miller.
That one on the line.
And that's in on a bounce.
Remember, all you need is 1 point right now to get into the top 3. 2 will automatically eliminate any of the one-pointers.
Ben McNally will throw next.
He was catching last night from North Shore, so see how good his arm is from the outfield.
That's well wide. Nick, as crazy as it is,
They got sound effects too.
As much as I talked about how little I run, I think if I had to participate in one event with any chance, it would be the running. As that bounces just wide left. I'm a line drive hitter. It would take me a while to start getting under the ball.
Yeah.
Maybe with the 200-foot fence, I could hit it out. As that's wide on a bounce. At about this age was the last time I played. Renner Mejia will be next. He's gotten a lot of work at shortstop. And Nick,
wow,
he clearly has an arm.
I mean, he didn't hit the target, but he hit the backstop.
Took a little off that one, and it's just wide. And I think that's tough, Nick, when your arm is naturally strong enough to overshoot the target and you have to try and take a little off. I think that definitely affects your ability to be accurate.
Yeah. Got to do it from North Shore right there.
Harrison Little League up next. Brody Kozak will get us started. And Kozak is wide to the right. Second throw also wide to the right.
See if Kozak can get himself into the top 3 right now with a point.
And that will do it. Luca Balbi will be next. And he needed a different bounce there. That one looked to be on line, but the bounce took it wide right. Second throw. In on a hop, right on target.
So if he gets a point here, Joe, he'll be into the top 3 automatically for so far.
A lot of throwers hoping he comes up empty.
And he does.
And he does. So
another
right now, every thrower with 1 is still in the top 3.
Yep.
And if there is a tie, all of those throwers would advance, but I think we'll get one more on a fly, Nick. As that's in on a hop.
Good throw right there.
This is Luke Gould. His second throw looks good, and it just bounced wide.
That's a tough bounce again.
Yeah. You would think the turf a bit more predictable than grass.
Got a chance here, Joe. And there it is.
You could hear all the kids in center field. That's good. So 3 very good efforts from Gould have put him in the top 3.
And that will eliminate the one-pointers. So now you'll need 2 to at least be into the top 3.
Jax Rothschild is the final thrower for Harrison. Perhaps the third thrower if my count is
Number
wrong.
4, yeah.
Number 4? Okay,
right.
I was correct. He needs to hit it on a fly, Nick.
He needs to hit a 3-pointer right here.
Not a bad effort, but it's wide right. Nick, I think it's going to take 3 to get in the final, though. We're beyond the halfway point. We're beyond the halfway point. We only have 1 thrower with 3 points. All right, they'll have to replenish the baseball
See what
Bucket out in center field. Penfield next. Grayson McCormick will get us started.
We saw him playing shortstop as well as pitching on Monday night.
Both require a good arm, and he has one. When you can make overshooting the target look effortless, you know that you have an elite caliber throwing arm, as that is in on a hop.
You'll need to hit it one more time on a hop or get a three-pointer here to move on to the top three.
That's high and wide. That's one of the stronger arms we've seen so far, Nick.
Yep.
Quinn Dougherty will be next. Oof. The Little Leaguers in center thought he had it.
I certainly thought he had it too.
I agree with you. Just wide to the left.
One just wide to the left again.
Needs to hit it on the fly here to stay alive. And that is just wide off a bad hop.
All right, next up is Spencer
Camp.
Spencer Camp.
Not sure where they got Lampe
Well,
from.
yeah, it sounded like an L that was pronounced over PA, but we
Yeah.
clarified, though there is an E at the end of Spencer's last name, it is pronounced Camp.
And he just got
Now, did that bounce through the opening? Because the tarp has come dislodged. I thought that bounced through the opening.
No, I think it took a
Went over?
I think it took a bad bounce over.
Tough luck for Camp, who very nearly hit the target twice. Braden Struzik will be next. I think he pitched and played short at different times as well this week, Nick.
Yep.
As that's wide to the left. Second throw wide to the right. Struzik looking for that middle ground here. And that is just a bit high.
Just missed it.
It was on line.
Oh, Lemieux. So they'll have 5 people coming up.
And Lemuti is just wide to the left. He's got some flow, Nick, out of the back of that hat. And on a bounce, he puts it right on target.
He'll need one more.
Straight into the chest protector.
Just misses.
Now, Nick, he is not putting much air on those throws, and he is still getting that ball just short of the plate.
Yeah.
That is a low trajectory on those attempts by Lemuti, who finishes with 1 point. Here comes Auburn. Lucas Fitzgerald up first. And that bounces wide left. Second throw, also wide left. One of his teammates
trying to get a warm-up.
disrupting his rhythm there. Final throw, hits the mound.
Style points there.
Tanner Garino next. How about that arm on Garino?
There's a 1-pointer.
That arrives on a hop. Garino on the board. There's 2.
And Joe, he now enters himself into the top 3.
He has been right on line twice.
Can he get into a tie with Romero, take the lead?
That won't
Just
do it.
missed it.
All right, Nick, so our finalists will all have at least 2.
Yep.
Was that our 4th or 3rd thrower with 2? 4th.
That is our 3rd thrower with 2.
With at least 2, I should have said.
Yes.
How about the arc on that throw?
That's up behind home plate.
I think John took that off the shin.
I think he did too.
Did they announce the thrower, Nick?
They did. I don't think I heard the name.
Auburn wearing those numberless T-shirts.
There's the final throw.
On a fly.
Wow. There's our second three-pointer.
Well, Nick, now we don't know our second finalist.
I'm sure we'll find out.
Well, we will. We will.
Portopilo right now is the thrower for Auburn.
And that will skip wide right. So Seth Portopilo and everyone after him that goes to their final throw without a point will have to hit it on a fly, but he does register a point on the hop. That will bring up EGC. Two teams to go. Parker Basconis for EGC will be their first thrower. And he's wide to the right.
When we have a moment, we'll show the three-pointer that we saw just a few moments ago.
We almost had another right there,
Yeah.
Nick. Didn't miss by much.
Skills just missed it a little bit to the left.
Final attempt. Wide left on the hop.
All right, now up, number 13, Joe Chevy.
Joey Chevy next. Now, we've seen the flow more than once this week, but that is a DeGrom-esque flow out of the back of that hat.
Maybe some inspiration.
And DeGrom hasn't pitched in a while, obviously, and hasn't had the long hair an even longer time than that. He was always one of my favorite Mets when I was a fan, as that bounces wide.
All right, now up, number 29,
Tucker Alex next. Nick, Bo Buchanan is our second finalist.
There you go.
Thank you, Nico. And
makes-
Alex is on the board.
Makes sense. Bo Buchanan getting on the board. We saw him pitch yesterday as well as Monday.
And that bounced just wide to the right.
He needs at least one.
That won't do it. Well, I predicted you would need at least three to make the finals, Nick. And we're down to, I guess, somewhere around 4 to 6 throwers. Probably closer to 6, as that skips wide. This is Blake Murphy. Murphy has to hit on a fly here to stay alive. Looks online, and it is on a bounce. Blake Murphy registers his first point.
Here's the three-pointer from Bo Buchanan. It's a nice reaction from the judges as well.
Plattsburgh, the final team with competitors, as
almost
Easton O'Connell just missed wide. Second attempt, wide left.
Remember, you need 2 to get into the top 3.
He has the arm, Nick. He could hit it on a fly. He backs up, loses the hat.
That'll help him.
It was a bit
Just
short
missed it.
and off to the right.
Patrick Ryan now up. It's a nice ovation. That could be on a bounce. Just missed it.
Wide to the right. It looks online from our perspective, Nick. We're slightly to the left of center field.
Wow.
That hits the mound. It's rolling, Nick.
The mound. That would have been a point.
And that's wide right. Nick, that mound looks like it has a very flat top. It's an awkward-looking mound from out here.
No.
Rather than a rounded hill, it looks more like a flat surface up top. But that may just be the coloring of the turf. You can see that difference on the infield. Zeno Lefebvre throwing. And he's wide right for the second time.
So a three-pointer here.
Has to have it. Will he get one? No, he won't. Time to refill the bucket. Matthew Whitbeck next.
So we have Romero with 3, Buchanan with 3, Santoro with 2, Gould with 2, and we have Guarino with 2. And right now is our top 3. Even though there's about 5 names we just listed there.
Top 5. Top 5.
But keep in mind, 1 3-pointer, Joe, would eliminate the 2-pointers.
Well, if there's somebody who can do it, it's Whitbeck. He
Yeah,
just missed. He has the
missed
arm.
it.
We'll see if he can deliver. There's another strong throw. Just wide.
Yeah.
Now, if you're Whitbeck here, do you move to the left a bit with your feet? He moved right, and he misses wider to the right.
Yeah.
That's one of the stronger arms we've seen.
All right, so we have our top 5, Joe.
Yeah, they'll need a longer music selection than the Jeopardy theme this time. So while they calculate the top 5, we're going to pass along a message from Great Kills Little League as fall ball registration is now open for those interested in registering here at Great Kills. Online registration began about a week ago and runs through August 15th. A T-shirt and hat is included in the $200 price point with discounts for each additional sibling enrolled. The birth dates for spring 2025 along with division information can be found on the screen as well, and you can scan the QR code for additional information. Visit www.gklittleleague.com for more and get registered for fall ball today.
So trying to star right now, Joe, who our top 5 technically are. I think we have it here.
Well, Nick, you're nothing if not efficient with the calculations, so pass us the top 5.
So right now we have Luke Gould with 2. That's from Harrison. Then from Auburn, we have 2 finalists for them. We have Tanner Guarino. He has 2. Bo Buchanan has 3. So they will both be in the top 5. For Massapequa Coast, Chase Santoro had 2. And then for South Shore, Jake Romero with 3.
With the obviously smaller field in the final round, Nick, you get the sense that if you're able to hit the target on a fly, you put yourself in great position to win this thing.
Yeah. And think about also the players that we listed. Most of them outfielders. Some of them were pitching as well this week too. So it's not a surprise that they have strong arms and we're making those throws to home plate. But we also saw some really incredible throws from the rest of our fielders. They just were a little bit off target, but still some amazing throws that we saw in that competition.
Well, I will say, just a word of caution for me, and I didn't play baseball for much of my childhood. I played from about age 5 through maybe age 11. But when I came back without adequate warm-up and tried to throw the ball as far as I could, I suffered the consequences.
Yeah.
I've had some rotator cuff issues now for the last 3 months since we took the field for our faculty staff softball game. I am just now beginning to feel back to normal. So warm up, be careful, and take care of those arms. These kids certainly have talent, and you don't want to see that go by the wayside as a result of arm problems.
So if you didn't hear, Joe, the two players with 3 points are going to get a bye, and then they'll wait for the 3 parts. So what they're going to do is the 3 players with 2 are going to battle it out, and then they'll face the 2, and then the winner of that 3 will face the winner, will face Romero and Buchanan in the final 3. So Guarino, Gould, and Santoro will face each other first. The winner of that competition will then face Bo Buchanan and Jake Romero in the final.
I think that's the right way to do it, Nick. And once again, 3 throwers who finished with 2 points competing for a spot in the finals.
Tanner Guarino will start it off. Nice
Great
catch.
grab, John. Johnson Gary behind the plate, flashing the leather.
Guarino got 2 one-pointers his first time up.
And that is just over the frame on a bounce.
And you get the sense he'll need a 3-pointer here, Joe, if he wants to move on. And he got it, Joe.
In on a fly.
He got it. A well-deserved horn right there. That's a great throw. And it puts pressure now. I believe this is Gould.
And he just missed.
He just missed it.
That was as close as it gets over the top of the frame.
That's a one-pointer.
One-pointer. It was so close.
He needs a 3 here.
The judges earning their paychecks on that one, as that's high.
So Santoro, Joe, is going to need 3 to have a throw-off, I guess, to keep it going.
Now, would they advance them both to the final or throw-off?
I don't know. They might have to advance them both.
I think they will. That's it on a bounce.
But then again, he could get a 3-pointer to move himself there and not have to worry about it. He has 1 point so far.
We will not have a tie, Nick.
He'll need to hit a 3 here. Whereas Guarino is going to the finals.
Santoro for the finals. And that comes up short.
So, Joe, we'll have 2 players from Auburn in the final.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So now the final 3 will be going first from Auburn, Tanner Guarino, and South Shore's Jake Romero, and then last.
Joe, we might as well give a look at that 3-pointer Guarino got. Get himself into the finals. On a rope, right into that target.
Well, that's one way to put the pressure on your competition very quickly.
And the competition is one of his own teammates.
Bragging rights on the line.
Yeah. And he's going to start it off once again.
He has some arm, Nick.
He'll get 1.
Making it look effortless.
That's on the line, Joe!
3-pointer!
4 points already.
Can't get off to a much better start than that, and I think the adrenaline was flowing, Nick. He almost threw that one out of the complex. Take care of that arm.
The pressure's now on Romero and Buchanan.
Jake Romero next. And that is wide.
And it puts a lot more pressure because you need 4 points to at least tie.
And that won't do it.
So Romero now is eliminated, so it's going to come down to the 2 Auburn teammates.
Romero threw very early as he
does get
registers
a point.
a point on the bounce.
All right, here we go, Joe. He needs
Auburn
has a winner.
Potentially looking for a sweep.
They have a winner regardless.
They have a winner. As that just missed.
That might have hit home plate.
How did that miss, Nick?
It looked like it hit home plate.
And that is wide right, so we have a winner, Nick.
Tanner Guarino from going into play-in, if you want to count that, call it that. He's going to win the whole thing.
That could be a point just wide to the right. So Auburn will be going for a sweep in the home run derby.
Yep.
And they have a hitter who you would presume is one of the favorites. So Tanner Guarino is your Golden Arm winner. And we'll shift our focus behind the plate as he will be presented with a trophy for his efforts.
So now, Joe, they're definitely going to go for the trifecta. They're definitely going to try to want to win that home run derby and sweep this competition.
Well, you know we always like a good 3-for-3, Nick.
Yeah, of course.
We will see how the home run derby plays out. Once again, your Golden Arm, Tanner Guarino, and your Roadrunner, Bentley Lanning. So what Nick and I are going to do is step aside and take a quick break. When we come back, the home run derby live from the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball Championship Skills Competition. And we are back from Great Kills Little League as we get set to begin the Home Run Derby. And Nick, let's shift our camera view over to left field and get a look at all the Little Leaguers gathered in anticipation of some long balls out to left field. Now,
if you also see, Joe, I didn't want to cut you off, they're going to have 4 hitters from each team, it looks like, just like they've been doing for the other competitions.
Okay. So that's the reason for the reduced number of swings. Only 5 swings per batter. So what we're going to do, we're going to try and operate without having to move the camera. We have one view at the plate, and we have a second view in the outfield. It's a bit easier when the camera doesn't have to move. So if we see some opposite field power from a right-hander, then we'll get behind the camera and begin moving it.
And obviously, need to be very careful, just in case anything, God forbid, comes over our way.
I don't think we'll have a problem because the overhang from our tent gives us some coverage, and to put one in here would require
it would have to be on a rope. It would be a line
impeccable
drive.
accuracy. Yeah. Oh man, if someone puts one in here, I think we have to have them on.
I think I would put them as style points. I might give them the Derby crown even if they don't win. Get those trumpets ready as well, Joe.
The trumpets are blaring. The excitement is building. The anticipation, specifically for the Auburn fans, is rising as they have a chance to make it 3 for 3.
Plattsburgh's going to lead this one off as well. We're going to see who the first batter is going to be for them coming up. And as you mentioned, they will get 5 each batter. Will get 5 swings. So
yes.
It's not where the actual home run derby, the one we had just about a week ago, where you get 40 pitches. You get 5 swings. You can take as many as you need to take, and then once you swing the bat, that's one of your official at-bats in the derby. So let's see what Plattsburgh can do here.
And not to be lost in this as well, Nick, and obviously this has no bearing on the result of the competition. There is going to be a mad scramble for every ball in the outfield.
Oh, absolutely.
You will see it on the secondary camera. Everyone out there wants to be the one to catch the fly ball.
Yep.
Don't you miss having that childlike enthusiasm for a fly ball?
Of course.
Now it's like, oh, I have to move.
I have to run to go. I have to run to go get it.
I have to run after the ball. All right. We're underway. That's hit on a line to left.
Nice catch.
Now, I don't believe they announced the batter.
I didn't hear the batter number. I'm sure we could see it at some point.
Our camera's probably our best bet. That's popped up.
My instinct moved to switch to the other camera, Joe. I was ready for it. I think he has one more swing left.
He does. We'll be sure to get you the batter right after this. That was 5.
It might be contact swing, maybe.
5 balls in play?
Maybe.
Well, that's certainly 5 now.
Yep.
That's it.
You have to make contact with 5 of them, so he did swing and miss on one.
I think that's number 5. Nope, number 9.
Number 9.
So
that was
Jacoby
Jacoby Waldron.
This is Kellen Parks.
Parks played a huge part yesterday, Joe, in keeping Plattsburgh in that game. A great start from him. See if he can get the first home run.
Now, something I always keep an eye on, and it gives you a pretty good indication of what to expect, as that's hit well to left, and that is long gone. Off the wooden fixture, holding up the netting beyond the left field wall. Now, our tent is partially obstructing left field, so we didn't have our camera fixed all the way out, but we've made that change. So there is going to be our tent post in the way. I'll try and move the camera up to negate that. Does that help, Nick?
Yeah, a little bit of the tent is... Yeah, actually, now you're good now.
We have a good view of this one. Caught right at the fence.
Right at the warning track.
Now, Kellen Parks
will finish
with one. Now, you know that every kid out there in the outfield wants to be the one to rob a home run.
Of course.
The question is, if you have a home run robbery in the Derby, are you taking away the home run? I'm not. If it's clearly leaving and it's robbed by one of the fielders, I think that has to count, personally.
Yeah, I would count it too.
Fans came to see home runs.
Now loses the helmet. There's
They
the
announced
flow.
the batter, Nick?
They probably did. I didn't hear it. I was trying to get the replay for that home run that we did see.
We'll be sure to get that once this turn ends. So after the first hitter, Waldron, it appeared it's 5 balls in play, but we've had now, what is that, 3 straight foul balls?
Yeah.
Has there been a ball in play yet?
No. Now there has.
There's one. Hit well on a line and caught.
That
All
was
right, so
5.
it's not balls in play. I could have sworn we had more than 5 swings to get started.
I think that was Blake Loudon shouts. I think that was him.
So Blake Loudon shouts that last hitter. And I think that'll do it for Plattsburgh.
So here's the one home run that they do have, though, Joe. That coming off the bat of Kellen Parks.
Straight out of the frame, you can see our tent post right on the edge of the screen. So we've moved the camera up as far as we can. I don't think the tent post will be a factor again.
UGC will be the next team up.
I believe they announced Raf Corbicero as the hitter.
They did. Now going to be in the shallow left center.
It's a well-struck line drive to straightaway center.
Still waiting to bring out my Chris Berman, Joe. Haven't gotten a chance just yet.
You have to hit it pretty well to get in
Yeah.
the frame. We could probably afford to go to the left a bit.
Yeah, you should be good right there.
Yeah.
He's got
That
a
is
chance,
gone.
Joe. That one is gone.
And well inside the frame, Nick.
Yep.
Well outside the ballpark, well in the frame. And Raf Corbicero,
on his last swing, too.
on his final swing, is on the board with his first home run. Caleb Lacasse will be next. That's a ground ball in the infield.
After this, we'll show the replay of Corbicero's home run. And that puts him on the board.
Trying to think back to last year. I think the top home run total may have been 3. We definitely had more than one hitter go for 2, but I think we did have one hitter go for 3. That's Lacasse's second swing. And that just got in on his hands a bit. There you
great
see
catch.
that hot contest for the ball.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was in the frame.
No, the catch was there.
Was?
Yeah.
Just deep enough. I believe we have 3 swings thus far. That's 4. Hit to very shallow center. That was 5.
Okay, now up number 98, John Hobbs.
That was the home run, Joe. We just saw Corbicero just a little bit ago.
John Herbst will be the batter as you get a look at his teammate's home run. That's at a mile high on the infield. And that is long gone, Nick. Halfway up the
There
netting.
it goes.
Now, you need one of those long, towering shots to give it the Berman treatment.
Yeah.
That was a blistering line drive. Hope that netting's secure up there. Now, 3 separate hitters with a single home run. Herbst looking for sole possession of the lead. as he skies one out to shallow left center. Seems like patience has been the key to success. And it also gives you a chance to rest. That's not to be overlooked.
I will say there's a bad Joe. Herbst has had his hat forward, then backward, then off, now back to forward. There's his 5 swings.
That's all for Herbst.
Does have one, though, so right now he is into the top 3. And Joe, here he is, the man of the hour.
Ashby hoping to contribute toward a clean sweep for Auburn.
Now, hopefully we didn't jinx him, Joe, because we have said that we'd be very surprised if he wasn't in this one.
Well, with 4 competitors per team, I think that everyone we mentioned during the pregame will be in.
Yeah. Ashby already with 2 home runs in this tournament so far.
Now, Nick, when Ashby came to the plate, look what the outfielders did.
Yeah,
they moved back.
Look at our camera, Joe, too.
They've been watching the game film. They've been watching the game film.
They've been playing towards the fence. He had the game-winning home run yesterday for Auburn in their win. 2-run shot in the 7th inning.
They're waiting for the thumbs up from the judges' table.
We're ready to go. You know he's going to take his time. He's going to wait for a good pitch.
As I said, Nick, patience will be key. It's very easy to go up there eager and to try and crank one.
That'll be the first time I've seen the pitcher for the derby pitch off the pit near the pitcher's mound.
Ashby will ditch the hat. It's popped up on the infield. North Shore on infield duty here. That is a wicked cut, Nick. And Nick, that has a chance. Just short to the opposite field.
Yeah.
And that's fouled away.
That's it. I believe this is Gianna Ruscio.
That is correct. Looks like they've been coached in patience, Nick. It translates to the derby as that's grounded on the infield. There's a line drive, and the grab is made on the infield. North Shore has been busy.
Yeah.
All those red jerseys. That's it on a line, and you can see the outfield's moved in just a bit here. I don't get hit by a pitch in the derby now.
We won't want that.
No.
Look over our fielders in the outfield for just a moment.
Is there any pressure being the pitcher in the home run derby?
A lot of pressure. I would say so. Because sometimes you get blamed for your hitters not getting the home runs. I know people that were complaining about the Orioles.
Really?
Yeah. Zach Burden's brother was the pitcher for Gunnar Henderson in this past home run derby, and everyone was complaining that he was the reason why Gunnar Henderson didn't win.
Interesting. So that was it for Ruscio. And I missed the announcement of the next batter. Thank you. Zeke Zalbin at the plate here. Got to get those numbered T-shirts, Nick.
Yeah.
Probably the only thing they've done wrong today. Was that's hit out to right center. And it finds another North Shore glove.
Yeah. They are very active right now. That was Harrison Miller.
North Shore almost solely responsible for populating the ball bucket. Now Massapequa Coast infringing on their territory, Nick.
They want to get active in this one.
Though you can't see that. on the infield.
I think that will do it for Zeke Zalben as well.
And I think that will do it for Auburn, Nick.
Yeah.
All right, so it won't be a clean sweep. But still a great effort for Auburn today.
I think they'll save those home runs for the rest of this tournament.
If they can get them
tomorrow. If they can get more, they'll definitely take it.
If they can get some homers tomorrow, they'll forget about this real quick.
However, they have shown us today, though, great speed and great arms in the outfield. So,
and we know they have power.
Yeah, we know they have power, too.
All right, Penfield. I think that's Jack Clark, Nick.
I think you're right as well.
It is. He's showing some good patience here. As I don't know if you want to sit on the infield, Nick. Just outside the range of our home plate camera.
They should be. They might need to buy him something later at the Ferry Hawks.
At least have your glove on.
Yeah. Liam McGrath was the one that made that play at second.
Now, did the pitch before that travel behind? Because I heard a lot of boos behind the hitter. I think it did. That's it pretty well to center, but that's a double in game. Have to have your head on a swivel in the hot corner here.
Yep.
There's a drive to the opposite field. And
had that duck out of the way towards the foul territory.
Watch out, spectators.
They'll do it for Clark.
Comes Noah Bolt to Nick. We're going to shift the camera to left field, so.
Right field.
Yes, our left. Our left.
Yeah, look at the fielders show. They are all shifting as well. Anyone that was sitting at the near first or second base now has to get up.
That's wise. Drop the camera a bit.
See if we can get our first home run to right field here at Great Hills. We have not had one yet.
I think that's only the second time that I've flipped left and right field this week.
Yeah, it has.
I'm on a much better pace than last year. The over-under per game was 2 last year, so we're doing much better.
Look out.
Oh, boy. Oh,
speaking of look out, my goodness. If I'm anyone down the first base line, I'm going to get out of there.
That's hit well and well foul.
I'm telling you, Joe. They might. I would not want to be sitting down the first base line right now.
Now's the time to come sit in the outfield.
Yeah. Bolt is scorching these ones right now so far.
This event, both this year and last year, is that's hit well to center. I think it has enough, Nick. And it's
just
off
missed.
the top of the fence. That was close.
Heads up. Nice catch.
Sorella made it look easy.
Yeah.
All right. The camera's going back to left field, which is to our right.
I believe they said this is Zarella.
Well, Zarella's on the infield.
Never mind. I heard the wrong name then. Let's see. Who this
Unless
is
I
for
was
Penfield.
mistaken.
That's what I at least thought I heard them say. No, it shouldn't be Zarella.
Yeah, Zarella was on the infield.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find the number. Ryan Sullivan, I think this is. Yeah, it's Ryan Sullivan.
Playing it pretty deep, Nick.
Yeah, quick look at the outfield where they're positioned right now. Let's say retrieve the baseballs, and now Ryan Sullivan will be the next batter. I had a home run, Joe, since John Herbst of EGC.
Fans getting a bit restless.
See, a lot of opposite field.
We just missed that one, Nick.
Yeah. Get a lot of high breaking balls right now.
I hope they're not throwing breaking balls. That's hit a mile high.
Looked like it was just under on that one as well.
Yep. And 3 players come together trying to catch that one.
I'm on a rope.
Ooh, don't park down the left field line. Watch out.
I parked on a side street to avoid that.
I'm well out of range.
All right, so that's going to do it for Penfield. And it's going to bring up Harrison now. So instead of a 4 batter show, it looks like it's going to be 3. It's definitely now 3 per team. So originally it would be 4.
So right now we have 3 players with 1 home run.
CJ Atanasio is going to lead it off, and we talked about it, Joe. Had that no-hitter going in to the 5th inning on Monday, or to the 5th inning, correction, on Monday.
Throws left, bats right.
See if he can get it on the board.
Now, you're naturally right-handed, Nick. Have you ever tried to throw left?
I've tried to bat left.
I've tried to bat left. Have
Yeah.
you tried to throw left?
No.
Not in a game.
No.
I cannot throw left.
It would look really awkward if I tried.
I've seen a recording of myself attempting to throw left.
It's
not good.
Okay.
A switch pitcher was actually just drafted.
Again? Really?
I thought so, yeah.
Can I remember
I believe so.
Can I remember?
Oh, boy. Is that fair? It sure is, Nick.
It's definitely fair.
Long gone on his final swing. CJ Atanasio with a long home run.
That's the second time someone has hit a home run on their final swing. And he now enters himself into technically the top 4. Joe, do they announce who the current batter is?
That's what I was about to ask, and that's off
gone.
the shed. Now, I'm guessing, Nick, this might be Noah Martinez, unless he's on deck. I think he's
Martinez
next.
is a left-handed batter, so it's not him.
Right. I think he's next. I think that's him. Oh, we have a new leader, Nick.
Back, and gone.
Got to grab that number off the T-shirt. And Noah Martinez is coming up. And Nick, he's stepping in right-handed.
Yeah. Either he's a switch hitter that we haven't found out about, or he's doing it just for the Derby.
So, who was our last batter is the question.
Well,
oh boy,
that one is gone, Joe.
Nick, that was out of the entire complex.
My goodness.
That was over the shed, Nick.
Good luck retrieving that one.
Oh, my goodness.
Harrison putting on a show right now. And
that is the longest home run I've seen hit here, and he may have just topped it, Nick.
Back, gone. That is in Brooklyn. That really might be in Brooklyn.
Nick, your car's not safe. You might want to go move
it really might not be.
Go move the car. For those who parked beyond the center field wall behind the shed, watch out. They didn't read the scouting report, Nick.
And Joe, think about this. Harrison's is right now on pace to have all 3 of their batters in the final 3. And that one might be gone.
That, Nick? How did that leave? He got jammed, Nick.
How in the world that happened?
He was jammed, and he hit it out. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Completely jammed on that pitch, Nick.
Harrison, what a showing.
He inside-outed that ball over the center field fence. That's the only one we got on camera actually leaving. The other 2 were hit so high that they landed well outside the complex. Let's get a look at some replays.
Here's one of them. You knew right off the bat that one. I think that was the one that went to Brooklyn. That one was smoked by Martinez.
Wow.
You can even hear some of our spectators here. They cannot believe what they just witnessed.
We saw some long home runs during that opening round. Nothing quite like what we saw from Martinez.
Still trying to figure out who the second batter for Harrison was, but here is his home run, or one of the 2 home runs that he hit.
We will find out soon enough.
We know that he is definitely in the final right now.
We were mocked for having never seen a Little Leaguer steal home in our 2 years of coverage here at the championship. The question is, How many people have seen a home run hit that far? Tough to get the perspective of how far it was.
I mean, considering the distance it went, that's why it's that more impressive.
Center field, I think, is officially marked a shade over 200 feet. 204 to center. Nick, that cleared the fence, I'd say, by at least 50 to 75 feet, if not more.
I was to say, it might be a 300-foot home run.
Yeah. Yep. I think there's a good chance one of those traveled 300 feet.
So North Shore, we saw Joe making a lot of plays in the field. Now they're coming up to bat is Logan McGarren, who we've already seen hit a home run in this tournament, is the first man up. Right now we have 1 with 3, 1 with 2. And then we have 4 with 1.
You just missed it, Nick.
Definitely did just miss it.
So as of right now, 1 home run is still enough.
And that's going to get him on the board, Joe.
Off the shed. Dead center, Logan McCarron. And then he's almost hit by the pitch.
He charged the mound after
that? Did he
that?
admire the home run too much for his coach?
Yeah. His coach didn't like that one, apparently.
That's ripped to third. So McCarron, for now, has a spot in the finals.
And, Joe, we have a left-handed batter.
They'll give the fielders a chance to move.
This is Aiden White.
Our camera will move. All right, we're all set in right field, Nick.
Good job.
Thank you, thank you.
And, of course, he goes to the opposite
Right on
way.
cue, he goes to the opposite field.
I've mentioned already, we've seen a lot of opposite field hitting in this tournament. Heads up for the Cars. Almost went there.
I think there was 1 vacant spot, and that's where the ball landed.
Yeah.
Once again, this is Aiden White at the plate.
And he's
That's
done.
it. He was in attack mode.
Here's Logan McGarren's home run. That has him on the board.
All right, camera's heading back over as we get a look at that McCarron home run.
Harris coaches might have to give their coach a thank you for the home runs that they were able to hit.
Yeah, I think we brought up a good point. Don't underestimate the importance of your thrower.
Now I'm trying to see, Joe, who the batter is. I almost said it was Weingartner.
It is.
It is Weingartner? Okay.
Yes. If I forgot to say that, I apologize.
Heads up.
That is sliced foul.
You're not safe on the first base line even if you're a right-handed batter. Heads up again.
Tough for a line drive to get over there from a right-handed bat.
All right, so Logan McGarren now is into the top 3. And if someone gets 2, they will eliminate the one-pointers.
2 teams left. First, Massapequa Coast, and then the hometown club, South Shore.
Now for Massapequa Coast, I believe this is Charlie Pericelli.
All right, you were right on it, Nick. Pericelli will get us started for Massapequa Coast. Looks like some of our little leaguers have gotten tired of playing the outfield. It's not very crowded out there anymore. Yeah, the fielding and grabbing those fly balls seems to have lost its luster. Nobody moved on that one.
Well, if you think about it, it's getting a little bit warmer now. You want to conserve your energy for the rest of this tournament, as that one is gone.
A shed shot. Straight off the maintenance area in the cages, housed in that shed in center field.
That one on a line drive. Nice catch. That's got a chance, Joe.
Long
That's
gone.
gone. And there go the one-pointers.
That eliminated how many hitters? 4 or 5?
That eliminated 5 people right there. As the Ranger goal song now begins to sing.
Can't complain about that.
Definitely cannot complain about that.
Keen Rimler is next.
Joe, we already talked about Rimler and what he's done this week. 2 home runs. They both went the opposite way, though, so.
That's a good point.
So we'll have to see.
I'll stand up and get ready to swing the camera.
Yeah, if you look at how he's hitting right now,
you can see the outfield beginning to shift.
Ranger goal song still going on. If we hear that,
here it comes, Nick.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Joe.
It would take a rope to get in here.
Rimler wants to make a showing, bud. That will do it for him.
Selfishly, I'm kind
You're
of
okay
happy.
with that.
I'm kind of happy that one landed about 20 feet in front of us.
Joey LaBella now the next batter. So once again, you need 2 to get into the top 3 right now.
And I think that puts these late hitters at a bit of a disadvantage.
But LaBella,
just
off the wall.
Short. That added pressure of knowing you need 2, Nick, I think it makes it a bit tougher.
Yeah, it does. That one a mile high into the infield. Who's got it?
There was a major contest for that pop-up. Not so much for that one.
The judges will get that one. That'll do it for LaBella, Massapequa Coast. We'll bring up South Shore, as you mentioned, Joe, the last team. Have to think Steven Grippo will be up here, and right on cue, Joe, he's the first batter.
Time to move the camera.
Grippo hit that 3-run homer yesterday. They gave South Shore a 4-1 lead after the game was tied at 1. Also had the game-winning double on day 1 against EGC. 2-run double giving his team a 4-3 lead, which they would hold on to win. So if you're in right field or anywhere down the first base line, definitely watch out.
Well, Nick, if South Shore ends up playing on Saturday, you know that building is going to be packed.
Oh, they will be.
Arrive early.
Yeah.
Arrive early.
Might have to camp out the night and just wait.
Fortunately, you and I have our seats locked in.
Yeah.
Regardless of who is playing in the finals, PDF will be there on Saturday. We'll be joined by Aaron Cohen, and we will have an additional camera operator in Pat Gilorenzo. He makes his return on Friday.
Nice.
So we are going to have camera movement when the ball is hit to the outfield. That ball will be followed. Nick, you'll be in charge of switching our camera angles, though we might have Aaron, so perhaps Aaron will be on the controls one game as well. And Grippo grounds one on the infield here. Oh, we just missed it, Nick.
Yep. Nice catch.
I got in on him.
It was Aiden White that made that last catch.
That was hit well to center field and
that
caught.
Was Harrison Miller that made that last catch, Joe. Once again, the North Shore gloves are showing out here. That's it for Grippo.
He's switching bats, Nick.
Oh, never mind. I like that mentality.
Oh,
that might have helped him,
he
but
just missed
it again.
He just missed it.
And I mentioned it, Joe. We talked about some of the favorites that maybe are coming into this.
When you're a line drive hitter, Nick, and you're right on pitches consistently, I think that almost hurts you in an event like this.
Yeah.
And Grippo hit at least 3 of those right on the money.
And, Joe, that's gone.
As we were moving the camera, I think we just missed it. And then we had one hit right at us.
And that will put him in. That one is long gone.
Well, that was hit so high that we couldn't contain it. Here's another one, Nick.
Again, off the top. Ruggiero's got 3.
Wow.
In just a matter of moments, he did it.
He got started before the camera could even be set and then proceeded to hit them over the frame.
Well, guess what, Joe? He's automatically in.
Sure is.
So Ruggiero is in. Noah Martinez is in. Again, you need 2 to get in.
Peter Giacchio, the batter, and this will be our final hitter of the opening round, Nick.
I'll have to see how many home runs I was actually able to capture from Ruggiero. He did it so quickly. I don't know if I got enough of them.
I'm not sure if we even caught the ball in the frame. He hit it so high.
The one that, oh, just shallow.
I'll tell you, they're getting some good pitches here. I think an overhand soft toss, that's the way I would like the ball pitched.
Yep.
No
That's
three-quarters, no wind-up, obviously. You don't want to wind up. You want overhand soft toss. At least that's my preference.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, and I think the pitcher was doing a really good job there, making it easy on his hitters.
So let's see, Joe, how many we got from Ruggiero in that last time up.
We'll see how my single-handed camera work fared.
So that was one of them.
Is the ball in there? He hit it so high off the top of the shed. I'm not sure if I caught it.
I think you did.
The ball's in there somewhere. There's no way he hit it outside of that frame. The ball's in there somewhere.
Oh, they're looking to tally up the score, so we'll show you that one that he hit. That was and there is at the tail end of it.
We tried.
Yeah.
We tried. That ball was hit really well. Any further to the right, and you're getting a nice look at our tent. We expected rain this morning. When I left, the forecast called for rain through about the 10 or 11 o'clock hour. And fortunately, that has not been a factor today. So, Nick, how many players did we have with 2 home runs?
So we had with two players with 2. We had 2 with 3, so we should have 4 players competing in the final.
So do you go head-to-head with the players that hit 2 and then move one on to the finals? Or do you bring them all in? What do you think?
I would just bring them all in. You only have 4. I would just make them all bat.
We'll see if that's what the judges decide.
We have 2 from Harrison, 1 from Massapequa Coast, and 1 from South Shore in our final.
They're still deliberating. They knew. Don't use the Jeopardy theme again. It wasn't long enough. So, Nick, while the judges continue to deliberate, let's step aside and take a quick break. When we come back, the finals in the Home Run Derby at this year's New York State Little League Baseball Championship Skills Competition.
Awards and Trophy Center is proud to sponsor this week's New York State Little League Championship. Located at 1600 Highland Boulevard on Staten Island, we pride ourselves in not only building trophies, but building relationships as we service our community and treat you like family. Your event and its achievements deserve the best. That's why Country Awards and Trophy Center is ready to work with all of our clients to make your event a memorable one, with awards, trophies, and gifts that make a lasting impression. Come see why we love our customers and they love us. Visit us today.
And we are back from Great Kills Little League, where we just found out that the one hitter that did not wear a numbered shirt and made his way into the finals was A.J. Malhotra. So that's the name we missed earlier.
And he'll lead it off.
And he will get things started.
So I believe they're going to have him.
He did wear the numbered shirt, Nick. We just missed it.
We just missed the number entirely.
Just missed it.
I believe he will start out, then Puricelli will be batting after him.
Yes, because Puricelli had 2 home runs.
And then it depends on who they will have between Martinez and Ruggiero to bat after that.
I think that the batter who hit first goes first. Now.
That might
There's
be
one.
Joe. That's one.
Those roof shots are hard to pick up against the sky, but we can assure you that ball left in a hurry. Now Malhotra on the board with 1.
That might be 2. That's gone.
That's 2.
But it's the pressure already on the competition.
There's
and that's
3.
Gone again.
That's over the netting, Nick. Oh,
that
he just
one,
missed it.
Yeah,
he just missed it.
Missed the net. Just missed all over the netting. And that's 3 for AJ right there.
And Nick.
Good luck to the hitters.
Nick lets out an exhale as that ball does get caught by the netting. I wonder if anyone moved their car after Martinez hit. I would have.
I would have after Martinez hit, yeah.
And Charlie Puricelli might be on the board, Nick. Oh, off the top of the fence.
That one he was just
Oh,
under
boy.
on. he was under it, but he almost hit a car. That one, though.
That is off the shed.
Yep.
Home run. He's got 2 swings left, Nick. He needs 2 home runs.
Gotta make them count right here.
I think he chased that one a bit. May like the ball down. That certainly could play a role. That's popped up. So Piricelli finishes with 1 home run. Malhotra remains the leader. And here comes Vin Ruggiero. All right. Vin Ruggiero, who hit 3 home runs in the opening round, will hit second to last here. I thought maybe they'd have him hit last. He hit more recently, but
maybe by distance is how they determined it, I guess.
Ruggiero hit it pretty far, Nick.
He did. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not sure if it was quite as far as Martinez. And you can see here the protective screen in front of the pitcher was adjusted. And that's hit well toward us, but Ruggiero got under it. Harrison Miller's been busy.
He's been very busy.
Got another.
That one might go.
Nope.
Just missed it.
Short.
He's got to hit a homer on these next 3.
Did he get it?
Just missed it. That's
Ooh, the high fence, Nick.
Yeah, that's going to end it for him.
The fence height increases in right center field, but
He
that will get him
one.
on the board. We got a good view of that one.
That one's a line drive, but caught. So Malhotra. So this is the hit where we have Joe. Harrison is guaranteed to have the Derby winner. It's between Malhotra and Martinez. So kind of what we just had in the last competition where 2 teammates are facing off for a trophy winner.
Noah Martinez hit 3 big home runs, and the third one he was jammed on, and it still cleared the center field fence.
Got to be ready to try to see what happens here.
That's popped up.
Yep. 4 outs, 4 swings to play with. Needs 3 home runs.
There's
that
one.
will be 1.
Oh, my goodness.
Goodbye.
Well, that cleared the netting by about 30 or 40 feet.
And that one
We'll
is also gone. My goodness.
Wow.
And wise for him to take a step out of the box and take a second. He has 2 swings, Joe. He needs 1 homer to tie, 2 to win.
I'd expect some patience here, Nick.
Goodbye, baseball. So, how about some drama here? 1 swing, 1 homer to win. If not, we got a swing off maybe.
So much for patience. He took one and then jumped on the next one. That's really the first line drive that he's hit.
And now we have the swing off.
You can't have the same hitter hit twice in a row.
Yeah, I don't think that would be fair.
No.
So Malhotra will come up again.
Bragging rights on the line, Nick.
Now, Joe, I'll ask, if you're any of the teams now facing Harrison the rest of this tournament, especially if you're Auburn, are you a little bit nervous with the way they're hitting right now? As that one is off the netting and gone.
I think you were pitching them carefully already.
Well, yeah.
You're certainly pitching them maybe a bit more carefully now.
That one's going to go too.
Off the top of the
Malhotra
net.
and Martinez are putting on a show right now.
And I think something that shouldn't be lost, as that's gone as well, Nick. Shed shot.
I heard that one.
Off the roof.
And that's
goodness.
4. My goodness.
4 swings, 4 home runs. He
5
is
for
5
for
5.
5 time, 5 time, 5 time, 5 time, 5 times. Oh my goodness, Malhotra.
Will he be a champion is the question.
Man, how much pressure on Martinez now? He has to hit a home run every swing.
That was impressive, Nick.
I cannot believe what we just witnessed.
Oh, this derby has certainly lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
As the Harrison Sluggers do battle. And what I was about to say, Nick, not to be lost in game, is that nobody wants to be the pitcher who gives up a home run like that.
Yeah.
Because you know that one's getting replayed.
I can only play so many replays at this point with those home runs. I have them all queued up.
Not only did he go 5 for 5, he did it so quickly.
And that's going to end it for Martinez.
And now he's going to try and hit lefty.
Here we go, Joe. Heads up.
Yeah. I shouldn't have left my glove in the car, Nick.
We're ready on a swivel just in case.
Just heard some of the spectators saying they're scared.
That one, oh no. Oh, I hope to hit a car. That was right towards the cars.
Yep.
However, that one, I think is going foul.
Welcome to the Great Kills Swim Club.
That might went under the pool. If not for hitting the net, that one might be coming towards us.
Splashdown next door. He's got one more swing.
And that one's definitely going to the pool.
Splash!
A.J. Malhotra wins the home run derby, Joe. But, man, him and Martinez put on an absolute showing in that finale.
No question about it, Nick. A.J. Malhotra is your home run derby champion.
And, Joe, so he hit so many home runs in that last at-bat. This entire replay is going to play in its full time. Here's one. Well,
That's incredible.
Here's one of his home runs.
You sure?
Well, I might have overspoke myself, but here's one of them. And then you'll see right after this one, here comes the second one.
Yeah, I think Balloon's a bit late to the trolling party, Nick. There has been some live chat trolling, so.
Yeah, I got a little bit too ahead of myself with that one. But, yeah, that was just two of the home runs that Malhotra hit to secure his home run derby championship. Very impressive showing from not only him and Martinez, but from all of our participants in this home run derby, showing their power. As we still have one more day left of pool play, as well as the semifinals and the finals this upcoming week.
And Nick, I haven't called more than the 2 home run derbies that we've covered these last 2 seasons at this event in this facility, but you have to think that's just about as good as it gets.
Yeah. Can't beat anything when you have 2 teammates facing off in a practical swing-off after they both had the same amount of home runs in our finale. They both had 3 home runs to send us to that 1v1 showdown. And, I mean, when you go 5 for 5, I mean, can't beat that. It's really tough to do so. But what we have seen, Joe, is that Martinez has power from not only that left side, but also that right side as well. So maybe that's something we see now the next day.
Perhaps, and these kids put on a show, Nick, and now they will get a well-deserved break. Picnic taking place on the field 2 hour left. Might have to poke my head in there and check out what's going on next door, but that will do it for us here on PDF from the Skills Competition. Our coverage of pool play resumes tomorrow morning at South Shore Little League. I will have the call with Nick Durst as our first 2 games of the day will determine who makes the semifinal out of the American pool. Once again, our schedule for tomorrow morning over at South Shore. Plattsburgh, Penfield at 10 a.m. Auburn, Harrison at 1 p.m. Back here at Great Kills, Nick, you and I will be on the call as Massapequa Coast takes on South Shore. You know that's a game plenty have been looking forward to. And then in our pool play finale, East Greenbush Castleton will take on North Shore, with both teams looking for their first victory of the tournament. All of that tomorrow, right back here on the PDF Sports Network. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.